Call meeting order. Matt.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Everybody said.
Yes,
You don't have to stand. Roll call. Everyone is here. That's supposed to be here. Approval of last month on the agenda. I'm sorry, this month's agenda. Does anyone have any additions?
I have an addition,
Okay.
the arborvitae road end.
Okay. Do you want to put it on new business on?
New business.
Okay. I'll give a report under road ends for something else. So, okay, anybody else on the board? Nothing? Thank you. Minutes, approval of last month's regular township board minutes of July 16th. Anybody make a motion, additions, corrections, changes?
I'll move the minutes be adopted as presented.
Second.
Second by Cindy. Any discussion? None being heard, all's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. County Commissioners report, Mr. Don's,
Public comment.
I'm sorry, public comment. I go right by that. Don't mean to. Public comment.
I have a comment.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm Libby Schleifarth. My comments refer to the taxpayer-funded township website. There are many and serious inaccuracies existing on the township website. I will use the township board meeting as an example. There are no minutes drafted, proposed, or approved from the April 2025 board meeting, except for the March 19th, 2025 meeting minutes, which I assumed were approved. All other meetings from February 26th through July 16th identify the meetings as draft or proposed. Were these meetings not approved? The June 18th draft meeting states Bernard Dock, and I quote, "The lift has been removed and the dock is out." The proposed minutes from July 16th states, "Motion to accept the minutes of the regular June 18th board meeting." Motion carried. The Bernard compliance order on the website states, "Boat and hoist must be moved." Compliance order does not state the dock needs to be removed. There is a dock at the end of arborvitae. The minutes as approved from the June 18th regular meeting are incorrect and in direct conflict with the Bernard compliance order. The ZBA page has similar discrepancies and inaccuracies. I will use the example of the ZBA special meeting public hearing held at 2 p.m. today. On July 28th, I received notification from Civics Plus regarding the ZBA public hearing and meeting for a variance application on property addressed at 2156 Lakeside Avenue. When I went specifically to search for 2156 Lakeside, I could not find it. The notification stated, and I quote again, "The variance request can be found on the Onekama Township website 1 week prior to the meeting." From the notification, I assumed I would have the answer to my question regarding the location of 2156 Lakeside Avenue once the variance application was posted for citizens' review, information, and comment. I checked the website on 8/13. I did not find the variance request application packet, but I did find the agenda for the ZBA public hearing meeting and notification on the homepage stating the address was 2156 Lake Isle Avenue. At the time I clicked on the two notices on the homepage regarding the August 20th ZBA hearing, they both state the 2156 Lake Isle address. However, the ZBA homepage states the address is 2156 Lakeside Avenue, correlating to the information I received from Civic Plus. Since August 14th, I've checked the township website and could not find the variance request application until today. The posted variance application includes a July 23 memo and a July 25th letter from the zoning administrator to the ZBA. A copy of the public notice submitted to the Manistee News Advocate and a copy of the public notice run in the July 25th issue of the Manistee News Advocate. All these official documents list 2156 Lakeside Avenue, not 2156 Lake Isle. For more than 3.5 years, I've been advocating for transparency, accountability, and consistency on the township website. I've written emails and letters with my concerns, giving specific examples and specific recommendations. I have met with board members demonstrating the inconsistencies and inaccuracies on the website. I have asked for policies and proceedings regarding postings on the website. I have suggested a citizens committee for the website and volunteered to serve. Additionally, the board and other entities of the Onekama Township have had to reschedule meetings and public hearings because they did not meet the requirements of the Opens Meeting Act. I have urged the board to make themselves and other committees, commission, and board members familiar with the Open Meetings Act. I have urged the board to have an Open Meeting Act pamphlets in the Township Hall for public information and understanding of the responsibilities of the public and the government, municipalities, and entities. The above 3 examples are only many examples of the website's inconsistencies, inaccuracies, and violations of the Open Meeting Act. In the past, I've made suggestions, recommendations, and questions regarding the township website, the township's policies and procedures for the website, contract signing and training of township personnel regarding compliance with the Open Meetings Act. With the 2025 renewals of Civic Plus contract for the website and the Manistee County Planning Department for Township Zoning Administration, I want to know why the board hasn't taken action to provide the taxpayers with transparent, accurate, consistent information, policies, and procedures for the website, and why the zoning administrator, township officials, boards, commissions, and committees do not consistently comply with the Open Meetings Act. Please do not migrate the inaccurate and inconsistencies of the present website to the proposed upgraded Civic Plus contract website. Please address the requirements and responsibilities of the Open Meetings Act with the zoning administrator, township elected and appointed officials. These are reasonable requests for a taxpayer-funded website. These are requirements of the Open Meetings Act. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll refer to the people that need to answer that and hopefully get back to you. Thank you for your comment. I'm going to respond only to one issue in there because I know the answer to it. Was the Bernard dock. The dock is allowed and has been allowed for the last 10 years, 11 years. It was mentioned in the report that the dock and lift were still there. Never said that the dock had to be removed, and nor does it. It's a public access dock. Okay, I'm just pointing that out. So the dock is there.
I
It is allowed.
understand, I understand it's allowed, but the minutes say that you approve that the dock is out. The minutes are incorrect and does not match the compliance order as you just stated. That's all I'm saying. You approve minutes, they're incorrect. That's all I'm
Okay.
saying. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Anybody else online? No, in the audience? Okay, moving on, financial report. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll do Brad first since he's here.
A few things, we are still delayed, for our chip seal, unfortunately. It's been a bad year for the contractor. First it was rain, and he was pushing and pushing and pushing, but he's been delayed a lot by rain. And then we had several weeks in a row that were in the 90s, and chip seal is not very good when it's that hot because it bleeds through and then you get chip seal emulsion on cars and then people get real upset about that. They are still planning on coming into town here in the next week. They have us scheduled to do as much as they can, but there is a possibility that some of the stuff will be put off till spring. And they will be doing our chip sealing for us again next summer for the whole project anyway, so it's fine for that. We just need to discuss where you end up. And there will be some of the stuff that will be carried forward potentially, depending on what weather we get. So if we get great weather, we still may be able to finish most of it. We do have them coming in, they're gonna look at the parking lot. Dave had mentioned the parking lot off of the point that at the beach, getting it chip sealed. We will be getting out there to clear the sand and get all the tree or all the roots and everything out of the cracks before it happens. But we don't want to do it too far in advance because the wind tends to push the sand right back up. So we want to make sure it's just a couple of days before they chip seal it. Also had a discussion with Dave a little bit about the potential of moving your recycling to where the county at some point wants to put their facility. We have no issue with that. We would sign a contract that would allow the transference from the township with it going to the county when the county takes care of and finally gets the money for the transfer station that they're talking about putting in. And we would work with you guys to make sure that whatever you invest into it is committed to be repaid back to you before they take over that spot again. Depending on what type of size, Dave and I talked about it. We originally were thinking, well, maybe 2 acres, but if we put it in there and we tried to put that much gravel in, it's like 1,800 cubic yards of gravel. So by the time we got all of it done, we'd be at somewhere around $75,000. And I don't think it's quite that necessary to go that far. So we're gonna go out, take a look at it again and get a little bit more, and we're gonna try and keep it down. I know the one condition that our board had with the county was that it be fenced so that debris can't blow out of it. And I know fencing is very expensive, so we don't do the fencing, but you'll have to figure out, kind of a little bit yourselves, what you want the size of this to be so that we can coordinate the fencing. Just the simple fence itself, if you were talking about 2 acres, that's 300 feet per side all the way around. So that's a lot of fence and it's very expensive to do that. So we would probably want to talk to you a little more in detail, but it is something we are capable of doing. It would be at your expense, but we can do it in-house and we've got the scraper, we can level it, we can do whatever needs to happen for it. So that's pretty much where we sit with that. I have been meeting with some folks out off of Lake Island Lakeside there, because there is the stretch that heads to the north off of Lake Isle, which is gravel. And we have a pretty substantial runoff issue out there. It doesn't look like anything's been done to this road for a good number of years significantly other than normal grading. So we put together a re-graveling proposal. We talked to them about paving. They don't want to widen it to the point that it would need to be if we were to pave it. We talked about potentially doing what's called a prime and double seal, which would be putting gravel out and then chip sealing it twice to get a base and then following it up with a third chip seal. But when we went out there and I met with them and talked about it, we thought, you know, this is low volume. So gravel could be a good solution. And we believe we now have the materials available to do this and have that product, which I had talked to you guys about, that would stabilize that base, which would give us a long time lifespan. There are going to be a couple of spots that do need to be paved to get water to flow off in the specific spots, because as it is now, some of the water goes into people's driveways. Some of it sits and just can't get out, so we would have to reshape a little bit and put a couple of spillways. One of the biggest problems is at the beach. There is a beach there, which I've been told it's owned by
The
the
300 foot.
township.
All right.
And so we went out there and looked at it. And it is eroding because of all the water that flows down at the bottom of those two hills. It erodes and it's starting to flush out onto the beach, which is problematic because this is not beach sand. This is aggregate type sand, so it's very abrasive. It's not really something people want to be walking on. So we want to put those spillways on both sides of the beach to get it to spill before it hits that beach and keeps eroding away. Our estimate, after we started putting in the asphalt for the spillways, and we got some prices on getting 3 trees down. There were 2 that we looked at and the third one that we were talking about, but the third one really should come down according to our engineer. We're at about 65,000, 67,000 for a total estimate. Half of that would be yours, half of that would be the road commission's. And this includes that demo product that we would use. It would be no cost for that. Normally for a half a mile of road, which is what we're talking about, it would be about $5,000 additional, but this is something that the company is willing to come out and do a demo
Fantastic.
and use it on that stretch particularly, because what we're going to be doing, they're having a hard time in a lot of areas. What they need is a soil that has a negative charge to it. Well, sand doesn't really have it. Clay holds a negative charge, limestone holds a negative charge. Well, conveniently enough, slag also does in most circumstances. And Manistee at the dock in town has a massive pile of slag that we could use. And it's substantially cheaper than trying to bring in massive amounts of clay or massive amounts of limestone. So we would do that, and that was included in the price too, is to get it prepped. And we would probably be able to get a 10-year lifespan where we wouldn't have to worry about any major grading. There are several driveways though that probably will need to put, also, we'll be talking to people out there. If you approve this project, where we would go across their driveway and put a slight hump, pave a slight hump there to stop the gravel from making the corner and going right down their driveway to their house. So your cost, I mean, you're probably looking at about $33,000 ballpark for a half a mile of gravel road. And it's something we would do in-house, but we would do it in the spring. Or if you guys wanted to wait, or if we had other gravel projects that you wanted to pick up at the same time, it may steer into fall. But either way, the only inconveniences, there's on the second hill, as you're getting towards the back end of the road, there's a very narrow portion of the road. So people in that back section are not going to be able to be on the road at all for 2.5 to 3 hours while we're setting up that material and letting it cure out. But we would take care of notification and telling them, okay, this is when we're going to be here. This is what it's going to involve. Just because we don't have the room to get 2 lanes of traffic through at that point. It's very, very narrow as it comes down the hill into somebody's private drive, and then it goes up the hill to follow the road.
Is that temperature dependent on anything?
Not particularly. I mean, we're talking 45 degrees.
So it could be done early, late spring. When
Yeah,
when no
yeah,
one's
I mean,
here.
we would like to do it. We would like to do it in the first part of May at the latest would be ideal for us. Because at that point, we're done with our first round of cleanup. And, you know, we've got people going out to do mowing. That'd be one of the first areas. We get all the stuff mowed back and we move forward on the project.
Okay. Yeah,
I just want to ask you a question for clarification, and you may have answered it, but halfway through when you were talking. The product, and I can't remember the name of it, that you talked to us about
It's
before.
called Prozyme.
That's it.
It's an
right.
enzymatic process.
And I remember either at one of our meetings subsequent to when you first introduced it, or at a road commission meeting I attended, you said that unfortunately it looks like it doesn't work on our roads because of the composition and all
Yes.
that. Which was where my question was going, but then it sounded like
We found a
You
better
say
solution
you're gonna
using.
change the composition so it does
Yeah,
work.
so what the material we bring in will be a high concentration of slag.
Okay,
And that slag has that negative charge that's needed to bind this whole matrix
and you
together.
already know that.
Yes,
Okay.
they were here, they actually came from their new offices in Las Vegas. And they came here and it was like 78 degrees and they were like sweatshirts and lawn pants and I'm sitting there like, okay. But yeah, so we went out, we looked at some different roads and we looked at the material and they took some buckets back with them.
okay,
And they're pretty comfortable with it. We're gonna try a couple straight off the dock too, just to see where we sit.
So then again, I don't know what the cost is or anything, but what it sounds like you're also telling me then is that there's the potential for some of our other roads that if we change the composition.
Yeah, and when
it
and
may
then
be
you're
cost
talking,
effective still.
yeah, and then you're talking about when you do it, after this demo, they're at about $10,000 to $11,000 a mile for the product.
Okay.
And
Which
it-
in comparison to what?
anything else
Regular
to do
roads.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, if we can.
I mean, because so basically, you're gonna take the cost of doing a normal road, you add 10 to 11,000, you go from a 5-year cycle between needing to refresh out to at least 10. And they've got roads where they just come back through after 10 years. They stir it up a little bit, spray the material down, put the material back, roll it in place, and it's good to go. Their oldest road is in Utah, and it actually is a road from farmland right out to the highway. And it's been in place for 40 years.
Do they have
without-
any roads with, that type of longevity that are in a climate like ours?
They have been using it in Germany for probably 30 years. And the German, they swear by it. They put it on all of their country roads. And then they cover the country roads with asphalt. Because they have found that that allows them to have a good solid base that never shifts.
Well,
And so we ended up going through I mean, there must have been 65 cities, half of which I couldn't pronounce because I don't know German that well, but I mean, they were just 60 cities that all were talking about how they use it and why they use it.
So Brad, this is just north of Lake Isle?
Yeah,
Okay. And do the property owners know they're getting slag and not limestone or not road gravel?
we have met with Pat here, he's been kind of spearheading it and sending out all of the emails, and I've been communicating with them. The only real difference, they're not gonna necessarily notice the difference, except for the fact that it's gonna be a little bit less brown than a sand product would be, you know, it's gonna be a little darker product. It looks pretty much like, when you mix in the slag, it kind of looks like an already brined road.
So it's not just 100% slag,
No,
you're mixing
no.
it in with road
It's mixed
gravel?
in,
Okay.
we need about 14 to 18%,
Oh, okay.
depending on what other materials come into play.
That sounds like a good solution then.
yeah,
Other than the regraveling and putting the enzyme on it, no, as far as the composition, I haven't said anything to anybody about that. In fact,
I don't think it'll look any,
I don't
maybe
know,
different
yeah.
color.
I just,
Yeah.
I thought, I misunderstood. what
No.
you said.
You thought it was gonna be solid.
Yeah, no, it's like 14 to 18%. They need 14 to 18% depending on what else is in the product that's negatively charged.
Okay. Well, just send us the estimate. We'll act on it for spring, because we'll start talking about that, right?
Yeah.
Let you know, well, you need to know as quick as you can. I mean, I would,
I'm not, I don't need it like now, but I would like to
Yeah.
know, you know, by December so that we can
we have anything
start
else on
putting
for
our
next year?
schedule together.
Do we for roads?
but
Do we have anything on for next year? Do we even talked about?
we haven't talked about it.
No, okay.
Yeah, well, you guys really, I mean, once we're done with this chip seal, and obviously some of your funding is probably gonna be expended in the spring, just because we're probably not gonna
Behind,
complete
right.
everything. But other than that, your paved road network, you only have 3 small sections of paved road that still need to be done, but you still have a lot of the smaller gravel roads, because we picked up a lot of your major gravel roads with that last re-graveling project. But there are still several smaller sections of gravel. And then there's a couple of areas that we have some areas we probably want to put a little bit more material and add to the width of some of the corners that we have to kind of give us a little better control of water. That's my main concern right now, is just the water. It's just the number of severe rain events we've had. We're seeing a lot of collection of water. And like we skim paved the over by the fairgrounds. But the back there behind it, where that's gravel, that's gonna need to be touched up again because of the rain and all that water that just kind of sits from that not quite dry area.
So what I'm wondering, when we were when he made the whole presentation on roads, and we were looking at the improvement of the gravel roads using that product, and then later found out it couldn't happen. My question is, would it be worth it to have estimates of adding
Like
that?
for 11 mile.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
using the
And
slag.
see how much it would cost us.
That's something you could work going forward, is instead of paving 11 mile, we add the slag. If this stuff works, we'll know
Yeah.
and do the same thing there.
That'd
Yeah.
be the test.
Well, because I mean, really, yeah, I mean, the biggest problem, when you're talking like now. The biggest problem with like an 11 mile, when we first started looking at it, it was about 900,000. Our estimate coming into this year was 1150, and our contractors are telling us next year, we're probably looking at 1,400 or 1,400,000 for a mile. To upgrade from gravel to paved now,
How much?
1,400,000 for a mile.
So if this enzymatic stuff works, that'd be like for Christensen, which is it's a.
Or Maidens. Road.
Mains is one that we know we wanna
Yeah.
figure out a solution,
Right.
because that is now so wide. It's not like a normal
It's
gravel.
wider
road.
than the right of
A
way.
landing strip.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's definitely one we still wanna talk to you about and say, hey, let's put a little bit of money into it to get it scooped back in, get some of that slag mixed in.
You don't know this, but to add the slag to a road per mile, any idea what that costs?
It's pretty light and it comes right out of the dock at Manistee, so it's not like
that
we're
far.
producing it and then having to haul it from our pit.
You're just hauling it.
We're just
there.
gonna go down there, they'll load it for us right on the dock and we'll bring it back, so the shipping portion of it's not gonna be much. And slag, we're looking at like $6 a cubic yard.
Oh, that's
Whereas-
way cheap.
Yeah, whereas
Oh.
gravel now, for gravel, you're talking about $13 a cubic yard.
Oh my gosh.
And you've got a good way to evenly blend that stuff in on
Yeah.
existing roads or whatever.
Yeah, we have some pretty good grader operators that can help get it mixed up, but we also are in the process of building our first RDS machine, which is a combination snow and gravel and hauling machine. The box has the ability to spread sand in the winter with salt. And then it has the ability to change over and force gravel out the back. And then you can put a plate over the bottom of it to haul material too. So once we get some of those in place, I mean, it's gonna be a lot better. We have 6 trucks yet to build, and I think 5 of those are gonna be RDS.
Okay.
So it's gonna make it a lot easier for us to keep up. Plus, we are getting a new paver too, which is gonna make it a lot easier for us to deal with these spillways.
Yeah.
Cause no matter what, you need to have the spillways, and they do
Correct.
need to be paved, because otherwise we're just gonna run, no matter what, it's just gonna run off the sides.
Okay.
Couple other questions. So
Do you want me to, do you have any questions you wanna ask of me, or do you want me to hang around till comes up later on in the agenda?
No, because we won't even, what we'll do is we sit down here, starting probably next month, or the month that we pick out, talk about projects for next year. That's why I asked him, when did he need to know, but it sounds like, to me, that the board is probably gonna go with that for the expense that it's gonna be. I mean,
Okay, I just didn't know if you had any other questions.
It'd be great to have a test case and see how it works and then.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing. They have agreed because we are kind of like a new product for them too.
sure.
They did the hardness numbers with the gravel, with the slag, and they had great results. They tried it to do it a little more. They didn't bring enough material back with them to get enough to show, like something they could drive over regularly. But their hardness numbers came out within reason of concrete, so that's what they
Okay.
expect.
Wow.
So a few questions. The roads that you guys were skid paved, like I know you did crown corrections up, but some of them you did like the whole thing.
Mhm.
So like Lake Isle and the hill going up to the old Heathlands, are those gonna get chip
They're
sealed?
still on the chip seal,
Okay.
yes,
Second,
because we didn't put that much.
yeah, right.
In the center, it might be, half an inch,
Okay.
and out to the sides, it might be as much as 1.5 to 2 inches in
Um,
spots.
Second, thank you for graveling and paving the side of Lake Isle. That's been a huge help, I think, for the people that use that road end there. They're not getting stuck in the sand and it's
Mhm.
not making a mess and all that. When is the paving out on the numbered streets gonna start? Soon?
I was expecting them to be here on Monday, and
Okay.
I haven't heard from them that they're in,
Okay,
but they are starting down, in Filer. Just because they are a little closer to their office there down in Ludington. And they are going to be using some smaller trucks when they get up here, so they've got to have a couple extra drivers to get the smaller trucks. Cause the roads we're talking about doing for you guys, they're pretty narrow. So trying to back a flowboy in there's not exactly the easiest thing, even for a really good driver. So they're gonna be using the smaller trucks, so I would guess. He said for Filer, they're probably looking at about 7 days. And then they'll be here, and he said for you guys, he's probably looking at about 1.5 to 2 weeks.
so in terms of just communicating with the residents, as soon as you know.
As soon as I hear for sure when we are in Filer and we're starting, as long as things are going well, then I'll make sure we let you guys know. And we will also we'll also be going out to drop off flyers on people's doors to say, hey, this is when we're coming through.
Okay. Last thing, really minor, when you turn off a Purple Ave Road onto Portage Point Drive. On the left, it's got a really nice wide apron flare, so when people are turning. But when you go right there, because of the way that curve is, there's a section about this big that it just drops off, and every car that has to turn, especially if it's towing something, bumps over that.
Okay.
Is there any way when you guys could look at that and maybe just, when you got the pavers out there, just pave that out to make that flare a little wider?
Yeah, I can have them take a look at it.
Okay.
We aren't paving this week.
Yeah, no
Just
rush.
because we knew we had some rain and
Right.
everything else, but it might be something that we pick up end of next week potentially.
Yeah, and that's an area where you guys have had to put gravel before because
Yeah.
of that, so as long as, when you get out there, maybe that's something that could happen.
Yeah, we can definitely take a look at
Okay.
that. Brad's gone for the week too, so he'll be back next week and we'll get out there and take.
And is the chip sealing that you guys did on St. Pierre Road by the dozen, the new golf course, the same thing that it's gonna look like here?
Well, there's some issues still up there that need to be, they're
Okay.
gonna have, they have a couple of touch-up spots. I don't know if you're looking at the area where it looks like it kind of is smoothed out and it's not very dark.
I was just looking at it in general, I thought it looked good, so if that.
Yeah, no, there's a couple areas because they're putting in that new back entrance into their service off of the golf course
Yeah.
off the back side there. And they had some significant toe drag on the, paver when it came through and they peeled some of it, so they're
Oh.
coming back and
Okay.
the company is gonna pay them to do it, so I don't care. As long as we get it fixed, I'm happy.
Anything else? No, I think we're good.
It's great.
You might as well ask him. I asked him about the dirt.
Oh, about the road on?
Yeah, no, not the road end, the road right away. You're talking about Matthews, the dirt pile. The road
Oh.
commission's okay with that.
Okay,
Yeah, as long as it's not still there in the winter, we're pretty much okay with it because we know it's a very congested area.
okay.
So I can deal with it. I just don't want it there obviously for permanence, but
Well, I'll
Stop.
give you an email,
Stop doing
start
it.
noting that, and then if you just confirm yes,
Yeah.
and then we'll throw it in the file, I think that will be helpful.
okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, thanks, Brad, very much.
What me?
Huh?
For computer.
I know, it's making, can I move these guys up? Because they, instead of keeping them here, I'm gonna
Yes,
send them
yeah,
on the agenda and I'll.
Thank you, Brad.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.
We were gonna stay for Devon Hanford if you want us, or he's here for that.
DeVoe, I still can't find anybody. We decided to just have somebody go do it, but I can't get nobody to do the work,
The fence.
you know. That's an issue. The ones, well,
Was that
volunteer.
got the
At
street
some point,
fence?
at some
Street-
point, the cost doesn't, I mean,
I'm not looking at,
it can't be outrageous, but it,
some point needs to get done.
well, if you have to pay a premium to get it done, you have to pay a premium because I hear it all the time.
Oh, I know.
It's constant. So, I mean, what companies, do we need to get ahold of some other companies or?
All the
Even just a
contractors,
little-
I don't know who, I have a contractor, no, I can't do it, I'm too busy. I'm working here, I got 10 jobs
What
going.
about like one of the fence companies?
Did not call,
I reached out to Straight Fence and we've played phone tag, but I don't
Okay.
have I haven't been able to get him
Final figure
out
out.
here to say, this is what it is.
so, unless we can hire you guys to put the fence up. $6 an
I
hour.
wish, fences are so expensive, I should open up a fence installing business.
Could
They're
that-
making
could-
money into the
could
broad.
Brad-
I did put
Oh.
up my own fence,
Road
but
commission?
Not surviving.
No, that's that, no.
Cause he said, we put up the fence up at Clifton.
I think he'd do the fence for us on that property, but I don't think they're gonna go do fence on the post property. Someone would chew somebody's butt out. I mean, I just telling you, that would not be good. So, okay, that's one issue. What was the other? Hanford. The attorney is not, since we're skipped ahead while you're here, so Hanford, we're going to court. So,
Unless the issues can be resolved prior to court.
right, but
I think that's
the other attorney hasn't responded.
Right,
Well, resolving the issue is get the stuff off the property, right?
right.
Okay.
So if
Yeah.
that can happen before a hearing, then hopefully we don't have to go to court over it.
But other than that, Tom already filed and sent subpoenas to Eagle. I don't know
Yeah.
if you saw those emails.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's
He
all.
doesn't
that-
appear to be real, willing to comply, but that
No.
could be.
But he didn't have an attorney before. Sometimes, you know, it can be good
It'd
or
be a
bad.
good
when
thing. The
people
attorney
get-
can tell them, this
they
is
say-
kind of ludicrous that you're gonna pay me and we're gonna go to court and they're right. They're gonna make you remove it after you pay me $2,000. It kind of doesn't
Yeah.
make sense to,
So it'd
hopefully
be
the
scary when
attorney-
people say, I'm calling my attorney, but then sometimes it's like,
Yeah.
it'd be kind of nice. if people
I'd be
did
shocked if
it,
there's an
we can
attorney that gives
work
them
towards a
advice where
resolution.
they're not getting paid more. But I haven't heard of that one.
don't know.
In terms of the Eagle case, that's proceeding, but they don't say anything about it because it's pending
We have
litigation.
no more information than you guys have.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Same thing, nothing.
Mhm.
Oh, you saw the email the other day from Mr.
Riley.
Was it Riley? Jake, yeah.
Mhm.
So I'll deal with that at some point in my life, but not now, not till after we go to court. Okay, so I'm only gonna ask this, so what Libby brought up about the address, so what happened was Lake Isle got listed, or Lake View,
Lakeside was in
Got
the original notice.
and it should have said Lake
But
Isle.
it should have said
Okay, was it
Lake Isle.
corrected?
It was corrected and the county paid for the re-noticing,
Mhm.
so that wasn't, go to you guys.
And it was corrected in time for proper noticing. We would never push forward a meeting that does not comply with
Right.
Michigan Zoning Enabling Act or the Open Meetings Act.
Okay,
So I think it was, you know, a little bit of, there was a human error on that. That was corrected in time to meet any statutory or legal requirements. So I empathize with Libby's, you know, kind of like complaints and frustration. But I do want to assure the township that nothing illegal was carried out.
okay, and the part about the packet they brought up, or something about the not being on the website, I don't,
The packet's been on the homepage for weeks. What she's referring to is there was, it was also put on the ZBA page and that didn't get updated for some reason. So I can't speak to that, but.
but it was on the township homepage for more than the time
With the updated notice.
with the updated notice, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
I couldn't find it there. I'm not saying it wasn't, but I heard what Libby had to say. I mean, but I didn't find it till yesterday, I think. So I don't know where it was prior to that.
I mean, like right here where it says zoning board of appeals special meeting.
Right, it gave that, but the packet of information that I heard Libby say was supposed to be available a week prior to the meeting.
I can't speak to that. This is.
I don't, yeah, that was all
That
there.
was posted on July.
Oh, yeah,
28th.
that was
Right.
all that. It was, she was talking about the packet of information.
Well, and I will say, just to add, for simplicity, there is no requirement that the packet's posted on the website, so that's always something that we could. I know it's kind of like a courtesy to the residents that they can find it. It probably relieves a little bit of burden from the clerk to not have to like provide it to anybody who requests it. But that is, if the township desired, that is a change that could be made, that like we could forego.
Just take it off.
Just take it off the website, and if people want it, they can request it from the township.
And we
during
did have a
regular
printed
business
copy
hours.
available in the township if
Mhm.
anybody stopped in and said, hey, I wanna look at that packet.
Right.
We have that available and the copies of the letters as they
Mhm.
came in.
So this
I know in
shows,
other communities, we kind of did start doing that, where it became more of a,
Pain in the neck.
right,
Right.
than.
well, here's the issue.
Mhm.
None of this stuff was ever done before. So as we've tried to increase the transparency, it
Right.
becomes nitpicked to a greater
Yes.
degree and the expectations are higher as, that's normal.
Right,
But as, things fall through the cracks, like there's human error or whatever, but it looks like this packet, Jennifer, I'm reading this right, was posted on the 12th. So that was 8 days ago. Now, there are some revisions to it. That's what the date stamp says
Yeah.
on it.
I went in and made some revisions because Lynn Matthews came in and said, people are asking me where the packet is. I'm like, well, I posted it. So I went back on and I reposted it and added the letters to it.
Yeah. So anyway,
So it is there.
it's not perfect, but it's very transparent and it
Right.
just, you're absolutely correct. The packet, whether it's a packet for the township board meeting or the ZBA or the planning commission, legally does not have to be posted. It's only the agenda.
But in this case, it was posted.
Correct. And we try to do that. That's good.
So Dave,
Yeah,
you just couldn't
right,
find
and
it.
I get where you're coming from, where it's like the,
Well, it wasn't
try to do good. and
on that page
I see it.
until,
Yeah,
I didn't see it on that page and I looked every day because I was interested in this particular variance.
That was posted what day?
This says August. Well.
Okay.
And
That's
I
fine.
didn't have the letters to include, so if the amendments were adding letters as they came in, we can't control when the letters arrive, and they have until like noon, I think. But before the meeting,
yeah, and you wouldn't put the letters on the website.
they did though.
They did, okay.
Well, it's public information. You
Yeah.
can, I guess. That's something that could be.
And so
Optional.
to
Optional.
round this out, if you guys don't want me to put it in the notice that we're gonna put it on the newspaper or put it on the website, let me know. And then even if we do put it on the website, it's still a courtesy, but then it's not in the notice specifically, but that's changing the way we've done it, so.
Right.
You
I
think-
don't think there's any problem with saying it's gonna be on the website and the paper, as long as we make sure we can meet that deadline reasonably.
Correct.
That's-
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only issue. And part of this, I've said this for a long time, even before I was on the board. A large percentage, over more than 50% of what the townships kind of deal with in terms of like issues. Right, there's a lot of things we do that just happen, but issues are all planning and zoning, and it's not because we have bad zoning ordinance or we're not administrating the ordinance properly, but it's a natural conflict with the thing, because I want to do stuff with my property and you're telling me I can't. But on the flip side of that, we spend tens of thousands of dollars defending our zoning ordinance. And so we really have to make sure that everything is neatly buttoned up, i's dotted, t's crossed and whatever, because it gets a lot of scrutiny, not just from township officials and from you folks. It gets scrutiny from the public.
Mhm.
So that's, one of the most visible things that happens, for a township wide. The fire and rescue does an excellent job. They're very visible, but it's very localized, right? Because I get the service directly. Somebody over here doesn't know I just got service from the fire department and they do an excellent job. But in terms of planning and zoning, it's a very public thing. And we just have to make sure we're doing that because otherwise you get sucked into stuff that you maybe shouldn't and you got lots and lots of money being spent. So it's really important. And I think everybody's really trying to do a good job, but we just have to be really cognizant of that.
There is, I mean, ambiguities in the zoning ordinance that I think if that got cleaned up, it would save the township a lot of money.
Well, I'll just go on record, and I've said this to Dave Wallace, I'll say it here at the township board meeting. In our districts where you have very small lots, I think a survey should be
Required.
mandatory. Not any discretion, mandatory, prove to us that you're on your property and that you're meeting your setbacks, period, end of discussion. Yes, is it more
And it
costly?
needs to be added, and that's just the way it should be.
And it has to be submitted with part of the land use permit application. That's my opinion. That's not how the zoning ordinance reads right now, but I
Needs to
think
be
this
changed.
would solve a
Right.
lot of
And
problems.
the other thing I think should be changed is, in fact, it's mandatory that somebody on that situation calls and says, I've staked my property. I need you to come out and inspect it before I do anything.
Just like when they're pouring the footage.
And take,
although sometimes-
pictures of it.
That is mandatory at this time and it's just not done,
I know, so I don't know how to
our-
make that,
Right, and we were talking about that, putting it as language right on the permit itself, because it's on the application and I'll give it to people that it's in fine print. But we can modify the form itself,
so
like
that's
big
bold.
red text across the top, do not
Yes.
start construction until
Yes.
you have required. Or if you have contacted the zoning administrator for a site inspection, so we can make that change like
Survey.
tomorrow.
I think.
In regards to surveys, I totally understand where you're coming from. We will get a lot of pushback from your residents, but Jody has the authority to require a survey for every permit that comes through the door in the residential districts. As of now, yes, it's built into the zoning ordinance that the zoning administrator has the discretion to require or not require, but if that is the preference and desire of the
Well, I
township
think the
board.
preference would be then just enforce it. If you're in a platted subdivision and it's that close for
Mhm.
setbacks, you require a survey.
And with that, would you wanna see a complete survey with the addition, cause we have a lot of people who have a survey and they pencil on their addition. But we could go as far as to say a finished stamped
Mhm.
survey by a surveyor showing the construction, like these are all things that I think is already built into the zoning ordinance and we would just.
You just need to ask
Your
for it.
preference,
Okay.
yeah,
You've gotta have something to measure from,
Right,
that's been established by a surveyor.
but not only that, I can have, this is the Surveyor Full Employment Act, I come out and I mark your property. And I don't maybe put pins everywhere, or maybe
Right.
only put a couple, and then the project gets delayed a year and all that lath is gone. So yeah, I have a survey but I don't know where it is on
Right.
the ground,
and
that's
that's.
the issue.
Right, and I have given people some grace with if they don't have a paper survey, but they've given a nice site plan and they can show me where their pins are in the
Well,
ground.
that's different. If
So
they're
that's
going
where
to
like
pins
some
up.
of this discretion comes into play, but we can just kind of make that call where if they can't show us where the pins are. Or show us a new survey with their addition, with the stakes. I mean, really, it comes down to the pins, like we need to be able to see the pins in the ground, because to your point. You know, somebody could drop a stake and say, this is my property line, and yeah, but we can definitely be. As strict as you guys prefer, because
Well, I
do
just think,
it's
as an
built into
example,
ordinance.
today's hearing,
Right,
if had called first and someone would have measured from
Yes.
her,
right, we
That-
may have caught that error.
well, yeah, you would have caught it.
Oh, yeah.
Unless somebody moved the stake.
Right.
But then you'd know that because she had been there, let's say they called before he dug, she measured and it's 25 feet. Then you come back and he does by his stakes and somebody potentially moved the stakes, which I'm not saying happened, but
Mhm.
you don't know. At
Right.
least she could have said the day I was there, the stakes were there and everything was correct.
Mhm.
In this case,
Especially if you photograph it or something.
Yeah.
Yes, I always take photos.
see, I just think
I say make it.
making people do that,
Yeah.
I know it says it on there, but they need to follow that. I know some people just don't. They get the permit and then they don't read the rest of it.
Well, and a lot of people, in their, not their defense, but they think their property line is here because we've always had this fence here, or this has been the tree line.
Yeah,
Right.
I cut the grass.
Or the edge of the road. The edge of the road is not the edge of the right, of way, right? And not a platted subdivision, okay? It's just
Yeah.
not.
So I don't know.
But our ordinance says that. Just saying, it's very, there's ambiguities.
Well, it says your lot line. You don't own any more than your lot line, Dan. If the line is here and it's platted, that's it. It doesn't matter where the pavement is. It's in a road, right? It's different than road right away. Well, I know we've had this discussion. We'll move on.
I'm not even getting into that. I'm just
So-
saying, read the ordinance definition of
Okay.
street and road and the right of way line. It says it's the part of the road that's used. That's what it says.
Okay, I'm not gonna get into that.
Yeah, and we
We'll
can
look
make
at
those
Gotta get.
those changes immediately and continue to be conscious, but you know, not just conscious, but hyper conscious of the residential districts and requiring those surveys and making sure that residents understand that this is something that the township is looking for.
We're
and that
really
we
looking
need to
out for
make
that. We've
sure-
had two of
Yeah,
these
in
now.
their best interest.
We've had two
Yeah,
of these in 2
right,
years, right?
Right,
So,
for sure.
and it costs a lot of money to both. It's expensive, so we don't want that to happen.
Yes,
If you would,
understood.
what Dan is talking about, get back to me after you look into that, so I understand.
Yeah, we have.
Point.
We can talk more about it. I understand the. I don't wanna say confusion, because I feel like you're viewing it a certain way, so I don't think you're like confused about it, but yeah, that language, I know.
Okay,
So we
that
can-
just,
So
I'm
that,
just,
you know what, I think any time that you, as our contract zoning administrators, feel like there's ambiguity in our zoning ordinance that could cause problems, I encourage you to bring it to the planning commission for tweaks. Because we want this to be as clear as it can possibly be.
Yeah.
I'm saying we should,
And I don't-
my interpretation should be removed from the zoning ordinance. I'm just saying it's quite municipal, the way it's
Well,
written.
but in terms of, no zoning ordinance is perfect, there
Right.
is ambiguity, if there's
Yes,
areas that
it
cause
should-
confusion, we should
Yeah.
tighten it up.
And I
So it makes
don't,
sense.
want to like call anyone out, but I will say that Jody has done that with the planning commission throughout the year. She actually has a written list of potential changes and things that may need to occur. And I know the planning commission, you know, I always have to remind myself that as zoning administrators, that's like the one thing we focus on, and boards and committees and commissions have like a plethora of things they focus on, so we can't expect like all attention to be on zoning. But I do wanna give Jody that kudos that she has been very diligent in like writing, documenting areas that are issues and bringing that to the attention of the planning commission. And I'm not sure how far they've gotten with investigating some of those things.
Sounds like we need a township board representative champion for that list. I just say that.
yeah, I don't care. You can do that. I know what he's doing, but you're not looking back.
Well, I had to look.
She's been hypnotized by her computer.
She can't
Okay.
look at her computer screen because it's flashing and it makes her sick.
Fix my computer.
Anything else, ladies?
No, not unless you guys have other questions. We appreciate the discussion and feedback, and we wanted to make sure that we could come before you all and
So
have these
I
conversations.
think, I feel to me like there's a consensus that we be a little more diligent with requesting that survey.
Yes,
I think
yes,
that's just a
understood.
sign.
I think,
Yeah.
sure.
If she has a question, just have her call me. If you're on the fence about it, now it's another viewpoint at least.
Mhm.
Okay, no
About-
problem. And requesting a survey if the person's
Oh.
already in.
I will let you know. I'll start doing it. I'll let you know, obviously, if I have some pushback, because I just would like you guys to know if someone's gonna.
Well, I'm not trying to spend someone's money, but the same
It's
token,
important.
well, yeah,
Yeah,
Look how expensive it gets when you don't do it right, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's very expensive.
right.
survey seems pretty.
Can we pay to exhume the architect that platted this back in 1900?
18.
Give them lashes.
1800 in Chicago.
I don't know if they actually saw the wetlands when they were planting.
the dunes.
They weren't here.
No, none of that matters. None of that matters.
Yeah,
They were sitting in an office in Chicago and drew it out.
topography,
Mhm.
what?
Okay. Thanks, ladies.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say is thank you to all of you, and especially David, because he is always available at our every backing call. It's like our speed dials in a week, so thank you. We really
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Okay,
I appreciate the partnership and feedback, and I'm always here.
all right, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Yes.
In about 30 seconds, you'll have an email.
Sounds good.
Balance sheet, financial reports, expense reports, monthly invoices.
Well, those are in the packet.
and then no
still
comment?
waiting to hear from the CPA for the mid-year,
Oh,
review, I guess.
review,
It's,
yeah.
Report.
Report.
They're in Dave's hands, the partner, so he's reviewing them. So I'm hoping we get those so we can book any entries and kind of move on with life, but, I
Okay,
don't know if anybody has any questions on any of that.
no. Okay, you done?
One other thing, so interest rates are still holding up, which is good because, we're doing fairly well with that. The 2025 property tax collections are underway. We're about 11.5% through July 31st, which is pretty typical. A fair number of people have been paying with credit cards, which is good because it just gives them options, so.
Okay,
Um,
and
yeah.
it's 3%?
It's 2.8% plus 50 cents.
Okay,
But anyway, if you're in a crunch or you're not here and you don't want to write a check, then some people do that, so
no, it's a good thing to offer.
that's all I've got.
That's it? Clerk's report, Miss Clerk.
All right. Clerk report. So I will be attending the cemetery conference
Oh,
tomorrow
good for you.
in Traverse City. I'll be attending a training from the Bureau of Elections in first part of September. And I'm looking at attending a clerk's retreat through the Michigan Township Association at the end of September. I'm not sure if I can make that work. Of interest, really mostly for assessors, et cetera, is House Bill 4081, which is currently in the Senate and should be before the full Senate at some point in December, is a bill that changes how many divisions on property you can have. So currently you can have 4, it would then be increased to 10
Move
parcels.
more surveys.
4 on 20 acres
So
or less.
the first 10 acres of a parent parcel or tract of land could soon be increased from 4 to 10 parcels under this House bill.
Okay,
So I thought that was of interest to the board as a whole. It's not law yet, it hasn't passed the Senate yet.
Mm.
On our 2026 ballot, we could see 9 proposals. The Constitutional Convention is one, and the Axe My Tax is one that everybody's keeping their eyes on. And in fact, Mary Fairgrieve would love to have you come talk about Axe My
Oh.
Tax at one of the Farr and Friends. I have been invited in October to talk about, to Farr and Friends, to talk about what's on their November ballot. In November of this year, there's 2 things on the ballot for sure for Onekama, and that would be West Shore College and also the Manistee Medical Care Facility renewal, will be on the ballot.
the
That's
old
a
one,
for
not
sure
the new
now.
one, because that's passed for 40 years, correct?
So we know
The
it's a
new construct
Renewal.
of the millage.
of the millage
For the
bond,
medical care, yeah.
for running it, not for
Correct,
the new
correct.
construction,
Um,
because that's set in stone.
correct, and that is roughly 50 cents per $1,000 of taxable value, and they figure that will generate just a little over $750,000 in the first year. So there's that. All voting will take place in the village of Onekama for early voting. So no matter where you live in the county, if you're gonna early vote the 9 days, you're gonna take advantage of early voting, you will be going to the Farr Center to be voting.
How they figure, okay,
Thank you, Shelley.
Our wonderful
oh, okay,
county clerk has arranged for that. Gonna save everybody lots of money,
well, it should.
so.
We all
there's that.
staff it, I mean, we're all at some point gonna be asked to staff it with somebody.
Well, not you, but
No.
clerks will.
I mean,
I'm staffing.
you are, but you're gonna ask for people from the townships to help out?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's what I
Yeah,
meant, I mean, you're
yeah.
gonna, okay, that's fine, thank you.
Forwarding our best workers to
Okay.
see who wants to do what. We received our security camera reimbursement for 1,000, which I think I reported on last year, but I have it on this month's report as well. We are submitting a grant. I've already submitted the grant for ADA door openers. We're supposed to hear within 30 days of the submission. I just submitted this month. I haven't heard back yet.
Okay,
I'm going to submit a grant request for a howler siren for the fire department. A howler siren is a low frequency type of siren that helps some people with hearing issues discern that, where they don't hear the higher pitch of a regular siren, but they do hear the lower
that's
pitch.
for
of this.
emergency warning, like if
Mhm.
tornado, whatever,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, so we have an opportunity for a grant through the Michigan Power Plan,
okay.
so I'm submitting for that. We have deadlines for our AV drop box requirements. We're already set as far as having the camera present and having one installed, we have that. But we now have to begin video monitoring 75 days prior to the election and on election day for the fraud. We, of course, are already.
for this
doing
one out
that.
here.
We're already
So
doing
how
that.
long does that record for, before it goes in the loop? The cam-
Oh, it's almost like 6 months. It's quite a long time. It's not a quick loop,
Okay,
because it records, it's not continuous recording, they record activity.
max motion.
Correct.
Like
For
if the
that.
terrorists are out.
Do you start looking at that when? 75 days?
Mhm.
Okay,
They also say now that you can even have a, deer camera thing.
Right, which the Bureau of Elections had to allow that because some communities in Michigan are very remote. They don't have internet access, they
get it.
don't have all of these things, and some clerk's offices are still at people's houses.
I'd lend you one of my trail cams, Jennifer, but it's right during hunting season, so.
Dude, no can do.
you turn one in, you send pictures in of a deer, wouldn't that be funny?
So, and that is my
Okay.
report.
Thank you.
Suspicious activity.
Questions for Jen from anybody? None?
I have a question on the, surveillance. They have to move that one to work on the, we don't know if they put them back where we wanted them.
Do you mean on the front bay doors?
Yeah.
Yep, they did put them back and I was there and we like checked the angle, and if you're not happy with it, we can change it again. But you could see activity in front of all three
Okay, I
bays.
just knew they were gonna move, I didn't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yes.
yep.
Okay. Jim? Oh, hi, Jim, how are you?
Yeah, as far as we know, we're still on.
Well, that's what I heard, sometime next, or maybe right around the first of the month, or so, he called me.
Right.
Last week, and actually I thought they'd be moving already, but something must have happened.
Yeah, I got a note from Jennifer, though. They were gonna stage at the DNR ramp,
Yes,
and I went out there if there was anyone there.
no, there's nobody there, but that's what he called me and he checked and I said, yep, and then, well, okay. I think he'll give me a heads up the day before they're gonna move.
Yeah, I think someone was out taking some preliminary soundings on, I think I heard Monday.
Okay. Cool. Good, thank you. Keep us informed, would you? Recycling.
So my only comment was, we talked last month about, we've seen businesses using the bins and it's not really a business program. And we were thinking about sending letters out. I guess my question though, the more I thought about that is, when we've gone recently with them emptying it 3 times a week, there hasn't been an issue with them being full and overflowing. So the other thing is, I mean, it seems like if the county is aware that there's businesses doing it, we've told them, isn't that something the county should be doing if they're the administrator of the program?
They'd have to change the wording of the proposal.
No,
Because,
I'm saying.
so should we tell them? Yeah, I guess.
I mean, I
They
just.
gotta know.
At some point, what is the county's responsibility and what's the township's responsibility? Because we can certainly pull a list of commercial businesses and I'm not going to send them a letter, but that's at our expense. And should it be at this county recycling program? If it's not a problem because, of bins overflowing, then maybe it's.
And it goes
really
away
not a
in the,
problem.
it goes
I
away.
was gonna say, I think the 2 weeks worth of busy recycling is over now, so.
So maybe we just don't worry about
And you
it.
have to change the wording, because the wording says residential
Right.
parcels shall pay, and that's a 2-year cycle or 3. I don't remember. Don't know.
I do.
Anyways, you'd have to change the wording to then add commercial properties, because right now it doesn't say that.
Yeah, and that's not what I was suggesting. I was saying, we were thinking about sending a letter to the commercial people to say, hey, you're not supposed to be using this program,
Yeah.
FYI, but.
Right.
The more I thought about it, it's like, it's not.
And
Doesn't.
then how do we enforce it?
Well, because there's people that aren't in the township that are bringing stuff.
Oh,
to
they
their
come from
businesses.
everywhere, yeah. Right.
And we were not gonna send them a letter, so it feels a little heavy-handed the more I thought about it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be in favor.
and now that they're getting dumped 3 times a week
It
and
seems to be. better.
everything and a couple extras, I think we're okay.
There has been a mess over there in the last 3 weeks.
It
'cause
looked
I
pretty
go-
good.
I pick up stuff and if they happen to dump on a windy day, the guy gets out, I took some pictures that day and sent them to somebody and he picked up every piece of scrap before he left, and it was windier than heck. Cause I wanted to make sure he's gonna do it, otherwise I was gonna come back and do it, and I came back and they picked them all up. So, I think it's gotten better, but still noisy and it's still whatever, so. Anything else on recycling then? Well, okay. Parks and Rec.
This morning we had our first, 5-year plan meeting and, we're going to, update the survey that we need to get out. We're gonna obviously update the goals and then put together the project list, prioritized, and then, schedule a work session with you guys to go over that survey content, the goals and projects, just to make sure that we're all on the same page. So we're working our way through that. I'd like to get the survey content done as quickly as we could. In fact, we updated the survey this morning, but we were asked by one member to review some more things, so we'll have the survey ready by the end of the month. Going along those lines, putting the projects together, the prioritized list and such, we'd like to spend some money out of our budget to get some updated cost projections. I sent to Jennifer, and I don't know whether it went in the packet or not. But the Eagle View project-based map, and the cost projections from several years ago. There's also the Glen Park ADA project, with a little recap by Laura Workman, who, worked on that this summer. It also has the cost of that, and I'd like to get those updated, so I approached, Gosling Zubek, and they said that they expect it would cost, it take them about 18 hours and $2,700 to update those costs for us. So we have, $15,000 in our professional budget. Unless you guys disagree, I'd like to spend $2,700 to get those costs updated for those two projects. And then I'd also like to ask your opinion about what should we do to get some cost estimates for a pavilion out at North Point Park, because in the budget, we put $10,000 and that's a ridiculously small amount of money. So my thought was maybe go to some local contractors that you guys feel are credible contractors and get an estimate from them. And that way, at least as we go forward, trying to prioritize projects, we'll have some costs associated with those. So that's up for discussion.
So I think prior to spending $2,700 on us updating cost estimates, it might be good to know or refresh the board as to what those projects actually are and entail. If you've got, do you have any, because I don't remember exactly everything. One was trails and one was a bridge or something.
Okay, so Jennifer, those didn't make it into the packet.
I thought I had forwarded them in advance, but I've just re-forwarded them right now.
Okay,
So that
I
we
had
can
thought
look at
that
them
you
while
guys
we
didn't have a
chat.
chance to look at those, so, in it, you'll see, both the map itself for Eagle View with the, thing that runs out and the landing out there. You'll also see the plans, that were submitted in Glen Park for the ADA, which the new plan would not include the upper bridge, because as we've talked about in the past, maybe an easement for that would be better than $100,000 bridge. It's the lower project that would get an ADA up to where the spring houses are. But you now have both the cost projections and the actual detail of the plan.
Okay.
And so I'd like to get those updated, as long as the board still supports moving forward, because while the board is pretty much new since the time that we've done these, the prior board also felt that these would be something we should pursue. And of course, we would also pursue those looking to get funding as well. And that was another question I had is, Cindy, do you know whether we're gonna go forward looking for MCCF to give us funding on the DNR project in the September submission, or are we not submitting anything in the September submission?
I don't know the answer to that today.
Okay. Because if we would have had time to get the Gosling Zubek update, we might have, if not submitting for anything else, submitted for that, but I don't believe we now have time to get the
Well,
update.
since we just, I mean, is that something we can act on next month, to approve the cost estimate updates? Is that?
Well, I mean, the MCCF deadline is September, I think. You recall?
I want to say September 15th is the grant.
Right, that's about when your next meeting is gonna be, so we really wouldn't have time to have you approve it.
Well, I think my way of thinking, the issue is, these are pretty expensive projects. And before we need to put together a sources and uses document. and I can help with that, with the Parks Commission to figure out what this is really gonna look like, and is it even practical? If it's a $500,000 boardwalk, what are the sources and uses and what's that gonna look like? So we need to talk through that, how, how much are we gonna commit, how much can we get grant funded or whatever, and kind of do it stepwise. I would.
But don't you think we need costs before we?
Well, yes, we do need that, but I wouldn't think that we'd be, even if we had costs sitting here today, we wouldn't be able to submit a grant for September because we don't have any defined project.
No, I mean, I
Right.
think given the fact that it was extraordinarily tight anyway.
Right.
And waiting till next month, obviously, we're not gonna get it. I was just hoping that the DNR project would go, cause I hate missing an MCCF cycle, cause we've missed plenty of
And
them.
they have lots of money to give away,
I know.
so.
So anyway, how do you wanna move forward on those bids? You wanna look at them next month? That's fine. We can do that. We can include it in the 5-year plan. We can include it in the budget process. That's okay, but if the board would take a look at what's presented.
If we
here-
look at this prior to the meeting, would they have enough time to get that application in by the 15th?
Well, no, remember, Gosling Zubek is asking for 18 hours
Oh.
to get the costs updated, so. Once I give them the high sign on
Yeah.
that estimate, then we gotta get it to their schedule and so on and so forth, so it's not.
And it's not something we can just tack an inflation factor on to get a ballpark, you think?
Yeah, that shouldn't take 18 hours.
And just,
Well, no, but these guys, I mean, whether it's them or
I'm just-
Ed or anybody else, I mean, they know how to charge you
Are we
money.
open to a special meeting just for this?
I'm asking, would that help?
well, again, it doesn't sound like he wants to apply in September for either of these.
I don't think we have time.
And I don't think you have a project fleshed out enough to do that because we don't have. Cause what do you have to say, what's the match gonna be, and unless it's just a little project that you already have funds budgeted for, which we don't.
Right. Getting the fall was a wild shot. If you'd have said yes today, spend the money.
Right.
I would have had to been all over Gosling Zubek to get this done, and it would have been extraordinarily tight. But I don't think that having a special session between now and next meeting is gonna make that any easier. So, at this point, we can just include it in the overall 5-year planning project, and that goes right along with the budget as well. But then goes to my next question is, what's your view on this, getting an estimate for, a pavilion at, North Point Park?
And again, I would say, what are we looking at? Cause pavilions can run from 10,000 to 200,000.
I have some rough estimates of, 25 by 25 with this, that, and the other thing, but they were written by a committee member with absolutely zero skill set in that sort of thing. Well, I mean, none of us are construction people. I mean, is there anybody on the board that could help me take a look at the specs that we have and say, here's someone who can help you put that together and go to the following 3 people to get a bid? I'm just.
Yeah, I mean, I think the committee needs to kind of decide on 2 or 3 designs that they might like, so that, because you're not gonna be able to get a cost estimate without kind of knowing what that.
I got that.
Yeah,
I've got that. Just,
okay,
who can I talk to separately to say, are the i's crossed, the t's crossed, the i's dotted? Is that all right? And if so, who should we be talking to get bids from?
So this is just an
Well,
open gazebo?
This is estimates, not bids,
Estimates.
right?
Estimates. Yeah,
I mean, so on
Just
one
like-
hand, I'm saying maybe we shouldn't do an engineering firm to update an inflation factor on numbers. I think that can be done pretty easily. But there are some engineering firms that can do cost estimates on, here's the structure, give me a cost estimate of what that would be based on your experience. And that might be an easier, faster way to get an estimate than trying to go find a busy contractor.
so go to Spicer.
Potential, I mean, there's different ways to go about doing that to get,
How
depending on
much you
what.
think they would charge to do that?
You'd have to
compared
ask them.
Yeah, I don't have any idea.
You'd have to ask them, and they might, since they
How
didn't,
big are you talking about? 24
25
by
25,
open sided?
open sided, just as.
Oh, 150 grand, just like down at the Village Park.
Right. The Village Park is what's causing me to make sure that I wanna get an estimate, because $10,000 is not enough. So,
Oh, no, like, okay.
but I think the 10,000, we were talking about doing something that was more of like a.
It was
yeah, it's cash.
Correct, like I have,
Yeah, right.
yeah, like a shade structure like they have at beaches, or like the one that they have at Manistee National Golf Course. Those
You know, like, kind of like the thing they have down by the Coast Guard station, I mean, I see those
Yeah,
red little,
right.
I don't know,
So
what it is like.
what
a
you're
tarp.
saying now is something different.
tear it
then yeah,
down in the
10,000
winter?
is not.
I think they do take them in the winter.
It is like to get an estimate for an actual pavilion that's gonna be there for the long.
What those aluminum carports, what do you think of one of them? That'd be fine looking.
I'll have you run that by the committee.
So, Vic, maybe-
Next meeting.
Right next,
Maybe
to
even
that,
if you
it's
could
right
go
next to DeVoe's
Go
fence.
offline after the meeting to talk about that, because we gotta talk about some other things anyway, so.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
do you know when we're gonna do the transition to the new website? I've got lots of updates that I wanna do. So I'm just wondering
That's on the agenda now to consider that
Okay,
today, and then we'll get a timeline later.
all right, and then did I understand, Brad, to think that we might get the chip seal done this fall out at Langman?
No.
That's not what we talked about, but
Yes.
he mentioned chip
He-
seal.
he
just
said-
Well,
last
here's
year.
why, because they're gonna be right there, maybe. You just have to give me
We
a
haven't
price.
approved that.
we haven't
have a
approved it.
price.
Okay,
But it's way cheaper per square, it's like, the cost per square yard is the same as what asphalt is per square foot.
I'm pretty
But I
sure,
think our last conversation, you didn't think they'd get to it yet this fall.
But they are now, cause he
But
said, yeah, cause he's got some other roads that they're not gonna get to because their funding is short.
I'm pretty sure that there's some scooter parking behind that pavilion that's next to the,
There's one.
that's next to the restroom, that sand, he was gonna take some sand out of there, you might need to get that spot right behind the pavilion there where people park bikes and stuff.
I've already cleared that out.
It is cleared
It
out?
is cleared out.
Excellent.
How big an area was it?
I've got maybe-
No, okay, I didn't think so, but you couldn't see it, so, okay.
Um,
Anything else, Vic?
well, I never really got an answer to that question. I
No,
thought I
I-
heard Brad say that he was gonna try to do it, but you guys have to approve doing that, right?
He's just gonna give me the price, and I think we're gonna end up doing it because they can do it, fit that in the schedule, because they don't have enough money to cost share for us for some of the other roads in the township. Their budget is running tight because of last winter's snow plowing expenses. So that being said, that parking lot is all us. They don't cost share in that.
Okay.
So we would pay for that. So I told him a couple days ago, just give me a price, and he said it was about what asphalt is a square foot. But I don't know what that is. $3, probably. So it's $3 a yard, so I don't know, we have to measure it and figure out how big, I don't even know how big that is, 300 by. No,
No idea.
anybody have a guess?
I have no idea.
I have no clue.
3 by 2, I don't know,
Depends on how much sand is in.
So Brad's gonna get us a price, is that?
he's gonna, yes,
Okay. Okay, the Habitat grant for North Point, sorry to say that we did not get that award, but lots of people put a lot of effort in, and so special thanks to Jennifer, Brian Allen, Bill Kennis, who was very helpful, and Tyler, who spent a lot of time on it. I got notice from the state today that they give us feedback in the next week or two on, shortcomings, et cetera. On Feldbeck, we got a bid from Anthony's on the work that we've talked about in the past. And then I sent a bid out to a couple others. And if we found that the bids came in anywhere near budget, we could then contact the family. Dave, I don't know whether you intended to contact the family or not, but I was gonna wait till we get the bids in. I haven't heard anything from the other two bids or not, so. Langland, we just talked about, and the reason Langland even came up was there was a request to do some striping, but we don't want to do striping until we get the chip seal done. I recently got a dumpster proposal from Northern, who has committed that they would do it in the mornings in the summertime. And it appears to me that their bid is significantly, for next year, is significantly below what we're paying right now, so likely we'll go forward with that. That's about it. Meeting minutes are posted.
okay,
That's about it.
questions? No, okay, before I go to the fire, I'm just gonna go back to recycling, so the grant application that they appealed, I forgot to mention, was then turned down as incomplete. So the county didn't get an answer or turned down on the grant, they got turned down on the application being accepted.
Okay.
Am I saying that right?
the appeal was
The appeal was denied, yeah, they were turned down on appeal of like incomplete application, I guess would be the correct terminology. That should be in the minutes. I'm sorry, I forgot that. Fire department, Rob, you might as well report on the well too, since it's back there.
Yeah, so, we got a report, and if there's any questions on it, it's lengthy, but. A lot of stuff going on the other side of the wall. So today we talked to the, up the end of the wall real quick, so. I think we got rid of the sand issue, that we were having. Good. The sand filter that's in place on the 2.5 that we fill the trucks off is collecting some sand, like it should. Now, the problem is that we have an overabundance of iron that's suspended in our water, and that's why our water is reddish brown. And so that's large quantities of iron deposits. We have both iron deposits in the crystal form and saturated, suspended in the water. So, try to find the brown that the tank looks like when we fill it, but it's, you can't see the bottom of the tank. On the portable drop tank that we drop for the fires. It's, you know, yay high on the sides, you can't see the bottom of that, it's that thick. So he's saying, along with reworking that piping system out there, because we go from 1.25 up to 2.5 versus 2.5 down to 1.25, 1.5. That would improve the performance of the water well in general. We can eliminate that spin filter that's doing all the work for the township side. And put in an iron filter that does the whole building.
The spin filter's the little white one, that one's keeping.
No, he means the cartridge filter.
Oh, the
the big
The big one that does this side of the building. So, we're gonna eliminate that. There would be some cost savings in it, because those filters are $300 for a couple of them, and with the amount of iron that's in that water, we would have to change that probably once a month. So, there's a lot of.
But it's a different filter, obviously.
Well, this would be a resin bed, kind of like a water softener.
Okay, yeah, I have one at my house.
Why is there so much iron?
I don't,
It's in the water, and my well's the same way. My old well wasn't, my new well is.
we didn't ask the question, I said, well, because I'm going to go on a limb here, that iron filter is gonna be $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, I'd imagine. It's gonna be, you know, it'll stand this tall. It'll be that big around. It will regenerate with air, so the salt, so and that'll do that automatically, so there'll be no upkeep on that side of it.
Oh, it was like a,
Does it once, mine does it
It
once a
doesn't
week.
really soften the water.
No.
It's not taking the
Takes the iron
calcium,
out.
it just takes the iron out.
We don't have hard water.
The good thing is
We don't have
our
hard
hardness. Our hardness is only at 9 parts per million, which is really good.
Okay.
It's just
Really?
iron. It'll
Um,
discharge, you'll have to hook it to an outside, it should just flush itself once a week on a timer,
However,
yeah.
however you set
and
it,
then like brown water was fire out.
the iron towards, they'll get rid of the iron.
No, no, Mr. Kiefer.
So what took care of this? And I know they
Making
asked her, treated the screen and then they
They
ran
opened
it
it
for a
up.
while. What
I think,
took care of the sand?
I think that did that. I think when they treated and cleaned the screen out down there, I think it revived it, so to speak. And so that was why they did it. They blew all the sand and everything that accumulated on it, you know, got it off with acid, flushed it, cleaned it all up. The camera that I looked at the video of this camera going down. You know, it was before, and there was quite a bit of sand built up on the calcium stuff built up on the screen, so it wasn't functioning properly. So when they did the acid treatment, they cleaned that screen off, so it was doing what it's supposed to do. And then with the addition to the little spin-on filter, that's collecting the rest of the sand, I think that problem will go away.
Could it increase your volume when they clean the screen?
Oh, yes, it.
Yeah, it'll increase the volume, and we might even get more once we flip flop the 1.25 to 2.
Yeah.
Do that the other way around, and we might go higher.
Well, I don't know, we measured off the 2.5.
But it's still coming 1.25 off the well.
Well, but as long as it saves the impeller on the engine.
Yeah, we don't care.
Right.
The issue with the sand too, that's been going on for years, so that sand in where it settled in the tank and we don't know how long that's been in there, right? That could have been building up for years.
In the tank.
Where the impeller was when you clean it up.
Not years, well, maybe a couple of years, but that, we replaced that impeller once already.
Yeah,
So how long was that?
2 years ago.
So,
So that's a $7,000-8,000 repair every
And it
time.
pays for your filter right there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, and then I did, when we got the engine back here recently, it was empty. And so we flushed out the tank the best that we could. And I left some of the sand that came out of it, and he grabbed that sand and he looked at it and he said, that is definitely,
water, he called it
yes.
water sand.
Water sand or whatever, well sand.
Yeah,
He said, that's definitely coming from down below. So, but we're not getting it in the filter now. You can see through, you can see it's a.
see-through filter.
And we have a flush down on that with a ball valve, so we can clean that out
Mhm.
ourselves.
Yep.
yeah. And so that's at a 140.
Micron,
Fineness,
whatever they're
right.
called.
He's looking in to see if we can put something more fine on it.
I just got the same thing.
So the good thing is we have soft water, bad thing is that we got a lot of iron. I asked, well, where's the trade-off of putting a different well down? And he said, because I wouldn't recommend it right now,
No.
because you could put a new well down and then get hard water and iron.
I tell you,
So then you'd have two things you'd have to take.
I put a new well in, and I'm telling you, it's from where my old well was to the new well, might be 10 feet. The old well had a ton of iron. The new one has no iron, but all kinds of sand.
Yeah.
So pick your poison.
Right, and so he said I would recommend not to do that. So I think we're heading in the right direction. That'll clean up the water for the whole building, not just one side or the other side.
Yeah.
It's basically takes care of itself. It regens by itself. It cleans itself.
Take care of the odor too, right? Cause you won't smell that iron that you get.
Right.
It's
So a lot of
Onekama water, right? I mean,
yeah, a
that's
lot of that's
An iron smell, I always thought that was.
iron and sulfur.
When we fill our tank, this one is water.
Well, if you open it wide open, it will.
Yeah, you'll run that risk of, you won't shut the whole building off completely. You'll just lose a lot of pressure. Cause you're dumping all your pressure out the tube.
Right, okay, so we still have to watch that.
So it won't shut the pump off.
Well, if you're doing it when someone's here, you just put that handle down so you maintain like 10 pounds of pressure and then it'll still put water into here.
Yeah, right, yeah, that's where.
That's all, but when you open it wide open, it drops to 0 because the pressure is all going to 2.5 or whatever that is.
So is Berg gonna give a proposal for a iron filter?
Yep, we'll get the quote on that and the quote for the work on the pipes.
So that'll rework that whole corner, it'll
Mhm.
probably clean that up quite a bit actually, and make it a little less confusing, because it's just been cut into and added to so many different times that there's teeth and crap in it that don't need to be there.
I've got to make a call here, so.
Well, that's pretty much it on that, Jennifer. I think that's pretty much the water well issue
Correct.
in a nutshell. We got the engine back, well, we're up 100%.
And all the work that they do will also address the fact, what do you call those, the overhead? That you can fill the tank from overhead, that has no filter on it at all.
That never happened.
So that will all be taken care of, so we won't be dumping sand in
Sand,
anything.
yeah.
Sand free.
I'm really good at taking sand out of faucets, unfortunately, over the last 4 years.
Push it on the entry.
Since you
Well, that was a
left,
side note of the fire report, so I put it necessarily in there, so, I don't know if there's any questions in the report, if you had time to look at, one of the other big things going on in the county is, the whole county is going through a renumbering on their fire apparatuses, to simplify things, so we're not being confusing on the radio, and it's just a department thing, it doesn't affect anybody other than the department, so instead of being called Onekama 105, which is our rescue, we're now called Rescue 7. Because 7 is our actual state issued number. So. And then we'll move from that, we'll move right to them dispatching us by numbers and not names, so they'll no longer say Onekama Fire Department, they'll say Station 7.
I thought I read something about that.
Yeah, it's a transition that we really should have done a long time ago. We just finally had some people that kicked it in overdrive to get it done.
Lucky number 7.
Thank you.
We are, we're lucky number 7.
Thanks for making the trip down to get the rescue rig too.
Yeah. Just down there,
That was a quick trip.
it was a quick trip, nothing to do.
Rob, you had in your report that you had a one taking on water at the pier head. How did that go with the boat and everything? And
The boat ended up, so they were anchored, they were in, just a quick story, they were anchored, they were gonna watch sunset. Yeah, really rough, the anchor was holding a little bit and the waves were coming over the bow.
oh,
And then they went to go, they decided they panicked and committed the sin of pulling the anchor and then trying to start the engine. Well, you should do it the other way around, you should start your engine and then pull the anchor. And so the boat was pushed onto the beach. By the time we got there, it was sitting on its side on the beach.
Hmm.
About a 21-foot powerboat.
how did that get resolved?
So neither the Coast Guard or us would do anything with it. We left and Coast Guard came, took a look at it, they left, so they had to call Towboat USA or whatever it is out of Traverse. And they came down and towed it off the shore for her and back to her boat lift. So, crisis avoided, could have been ugly if she would not have pulled that anchor, if the anchor come loose, whatever happened. But the anchor was holding the bow into the waves, didn't have enough rope out probably. So, but yeah, so we had that, and then we had this month, so I had to put it in the report, we also had a call for a capsized sailboat.
Hmm.
So that ended up being not as bad as it sounded, so that was good, but.
Boat working good though, and
Yeah.
just getting more comfortable with it?
Yeah, get more comfortable with it. We, got complimented by Central Dispatch on the response time to the capsized sailboat. So we had all that taken care of before the sheriff department showed up at the parking lot and put the boat in to go take care of it.
He was a little bummed because we'd be in there.
And he had a good view of him. He wanted the first full rescue, but yeah, that is all going super well.
You get the downriggers mounted and all that?
Yeah,
Down there, it'll be on first fishing.
fish finder.
Yeah. Get a fish finder now. Okay, anything else?
Yes.
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 So I gave you guys a handout for a dual-sided ID card printer. Don't necessarily need a vote on it this month if you want to take a look at it, next month, whatever. But we would like to purchase this. Reason being is when we register for certifications, and such, a lot of times they're asking for our government issue or fire department issued ID, and we don't have that. So in that instance, we need to get you need to get a check stub with the
Oh,
fire department's name on it, or we need to get, W-2s, stuff like that, and there's been times where David's actually had to write letters, for instance, for Rob for stuff, and that all takes time, and sometimes you don't have that time to register before the deadlines. So, it just delays the process. And then also for multi-use, we'd also like to have, use it for like IDs for our EMS system, so patients know it's,
thanks,
we
Jim.
work for the fire department when we go in for EMS call to somebody's house or whatever, so.
Okay, do you think it's worse? I see you got the 3-year protection plan for buying that. Do we normally do that? And I'm not,
Just put it on there,
yeah,
but also I thought, and we could also use this for, like parking permit IDs to hang in the car once you guys get the signs or whatever, so they could,
Election workers, things like that.
yeah. and
There's a lot of
that's
uses
another
to it,
thing.
yeah.
And if you ever went to like a keyless entry, it also does barcodes on the thing, so, I mean, it's got a multi-function thing, and so we would like to purchase it.
okay.
And I don't know if it meets the capital criteria or just,
No.
Not really, it's not really that expensive.
Someone wanna make a motion?
And I don't know if
I'd
you
make a
wanted to
motion
use
to
it
do it.
for elections, we could split the cost.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Who's good?
motion made second anyone?
I would second that.
Okay, so for discussion, I think it's a great idea. Use it for elections also. We could just, you know,
I mean, it sounds like there's multiple uses for, it. I mean, we haven't really talked through the parking, but it's intriguing if, yeah.
That's a great
township
idea.
Officials have a little tag that they have to put in their car on their dashboard and then you know pretty well.
Who to tow and not to tow.
Yeah,
Hang
potentially.
it from your mirror, whatever.
yeah, no, I get it. What about the, protection plan? I'm not a big warranty guy except on my
It
car.
only adds 10%, so 15% or whatever.
Hey, I just use that Assurant on my phone, it's pretty good. But I don't know how it is with this stuff.
Well, no, it's probably the same. I'd probably pay. Oh, I know the company, but what? Go ahead. You wanna buy the plan too? Permission to buy the extended warranty?
I'd say go, it's not that terribly expensive.
Total will be 1775.97. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Is it okay with the second, Cindy? Okay. Discussion, any more? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, that's carried.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's real, but you just, it's through Amazon, if you would just,
Mhm.
thank you so much.
We have a zoning administrator report.
Oh, I forgot to bring this up when they came, so
You do have the
well-
report in your packet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, but, okay,
I'm glad that they were here.
Yeah.
I'd like to see them here more often. One,
yeah,
You're
that's
welcome.
helpful. Yes, thank you for inviting
She
them.
suggested to Jody she might wanna show up a little bit
Yeah.
more frequently.
But the compliance guy, and again, I have to look at our contract to see, the information in the report he gave us was 2 months old. So does that mean he hasn't been out in 2 months to look at stuff or?
That's
Or
good.
just this one, cause the first one I
Yeah.
forwarded, which is what I was given.
Yeah.
And I didn't catch that it was, dated July, then we did get an August one.
I know, but
which
if
that
you
should
look
be
at
in
the
your
text,
packet.
it's still, it was out there in the first part of June.
Right,
It's now the
Okay.
middle of August. I don't know, just.
no, I get it, yeah,
Right.
Just,
okay,
Not
we're paying
real.
them a lot of money.
to do that, I agree.
So anyway, I forgot to ask him about that.
And that's just the compliance person, right? I mean,
That's just
you
a-
would think they would be.
Wouldn't have that much to do.
They had another zoning administrator too, code enforcement, but they, what's his name?
Mike Serbrook.
So they have another zoning administrator also,
Which is interesting because they've been losing contracts.
David something,
David Jarvie.
Thank
and
you.
He's the ZA for the village.
correct. Here, so you have a new zoning administrator. I know, but I'm just saying, I didn't know until the other day, I went, well, who is that? So whatever. Anything else? Yeah, no. Planning Commission and ZBA, well, obviously you had the ZBA hearing today,
What was the outcome of that? I wasn't
they turned. Well, I wasn't here when they announced it, so what, did they turn them down?
My understanding is the foundation will have to be torn out. Apparently that he could reapply and put it exactly in the same place.
Well,
What?
if he had
Well,
applied,
because Kevin Kane made the point that this was a, self-caused difficulty. And
Self-created.
well, yeah, self-created difficulty, therefore, I mean, the variance was dead from the get-go, according to Kevin Kane. I don't know if that's really true.
it is true, but if he had applied for a variance before he.
So
did
there's
it-
no after-the-fact variant
No,
possible.
But if he had applied for one ahead of time, he might very well have gotten one, because that's a pretty unique piece of property with that ravine running behind it.
I pointed that out,
Eh.
because I thought, personally,
I,
it's 30 feet from the pavement, it's not closer to the road than anything else over there.
I think you might have gotten it had you applied ahead of time, but anyway, but it gets back to the conversation we had with the county about
A survey.
well, and.
Not only that, calling to have someone come out and look
And
at it
check it.
first before you do anything and they check
I'm
it.
screwed about that, because the survey that was in the packet, it showed, the conventional property line that you would agree with, Dave, that's where it is. It was like right next to the road. And so I'm not getting where it's, I walked it off, I mean, it was 30, the foundation is 30 feet from the pavement. So I don't know where the platted road is. And if anybody even knew where that was, it wasn't.
Well, they did, they had it surveyed and those state, that's the whole issue. The whole issue is, like I brought. Call first, it says in there, call and stake it and let us come look first. It says it right in there. And this has happened more than twice, actually. It happened 3 times,
At least 3 times.
4. And no one does that. And I don't know how much more succinct to make it, other than what she's gonna do is just highlight it, put it at the very top of conditions and put it in 3 times in red ink.
But the surveys that were included in the packet were almost illegible.
It was probably.
Or whatever.
based
Which
on
is
some-
stupid,
Well,
right?
I don't know why, but it didn't actually
So should it be
show
our
the boundary of the
Well, that's
platted
our
road.
contract.
And that's a problem, because it should have, because every survey
That's what they're gonna use.
So if they-
every survey, and that's what they look
So, for
at, but
example,
again,
if we did,
I don't know why, and I don't know. No one said this, and I don't know if Brett brought it up. Someone may have moved his stakes. I don't know that, and I don't think he knows. The hard part is,
Yeah, somebody could have walked in there and pulled it up and moved it 6 or 8 or 10 feet.
Our logo.
I mean, real easy, Dan, someone to do that, right? It happens on other property limits.
Property line, which is usually the
Well,
line where the
I guess.
platted road
If we were
is, was right up
say
next to the
goodbye, County,
pavement
we're
on
gonna
the
do our own
drawing.
thing, we would get that.
So I don't,
But- but
I
is it-
don't know where the 18 feet is even.
But is it in reality, or is the road, see, that's just it. You gotta have a survey.
What was the 18 feet measured?
I was gonna.
Everybody said it was just 18 feet. I don't know.
If they had an accurate survey that the road was marked. And
Right, but I don't know, where did the 18 feet come from? I have no idea.
I don't either.
So.
I know on Crescent Beach where it comes down, I can tell you this. It's not in the middle of the road right away.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, it is shifted all the way to one side. So one setback for this guy, let's say it's 25 feet, it's from the edge of the road. From over here, it's 50 feet from the edge of the road because the road isn't situated in the right of way. So it's a huge depending on where that is all over the township. Just so it creates other issues.
Well, I'm just glad that
Okay,
I think the message was delivered today.
it's.
So they're gonna tear it down?
No,
I'm not
I think
talking
there's,
about the ZBA, I'm talking about. for
no, I'm
future
talking
stuff.
about for future.
Oh,
But
right.
yeah, that ZBA issue's not over. Okay, roads.
Well, we already did our roads. And
Okay.
this one.
Well,
I
we have,
am very happy that Mr. Brad
Oh, my
is
God.
our road commissioner.
Yeah, I am too.
He's very impressive.
well, Mark never, other than one time, I don't think Mark ever was here, was he?
Well, not only
I mean,
that,
this week he was retiring.
Thank God.
but Manistee
No, I
County,
mean, it's
That was
like,
second time.
we're
That was
talking
second time.
millions of dollars.
Manistee County was ranked 82 out of 82 counties for the condition of its roads.
No.
So it's no wonder that he's wanting to do asset management stuff because it quickly
Yeah,
increases the.
yeah, even if we can get to 80, we look good.
The problem is, we have a road millage to spend, Brown has a little road millage.
There's not many in the.
I don't think another township has a road millage, so that is the issue that they have, they don't have enough, now $1.4 million to do a mile of paving,
Doesn't matter.
how many?
Where are you gonna
towns-
come up with that?
Well, it's,
That's like Big Four Road's gonna be a gravel road, I think, again.
they are gonna grind it up and make it gravel, actually, is what's gonna happen, they said that last year.
On a bike path.
Yeah, there you go, non-motorized, or motorized, like, some people will really be mad about it.
You know what, that's funny, but put it on, we'll put it on Big Four Road.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Big
they're
bike
calling it.
path road.
Okay, roads, assessor, everybody seems to be happy with their taxes, no one's complaining to me, aren't they? Well, Ed would know about it,
Everybody loves
I have had,
Everyone's been whistling a tune when they come in here to write their checks.
We occasionally get a note that says, thank you township officials for all the work that you do on behalf of us and stuff. It's nice.
I never see them anyways.
I'll be sure.
Dan will send one, I'm sure,
I think I put in something in my,
I have had like,
Yeah, you said tax collector of the day award or something.
Yeah.
I have had like 6 or 8 calls about how can they appeal their taxes now that they have a tax bill. And I've been explaining to people, you have to appeal your assessment back in, and they said, well, they never got, I hear this all the time, I've never got an assessment. I said, no, you got it, but it said this is not a tax bill, and I guarantee if you don't remember, it, you didn't look at it. Cause it said it is not a tax bill. And I said, you have to appeal it. I just got away here today, somebody called me, I told them the same thing. So. Hopefully next year, we're not gonna have that big a raise. No, not for, I don't know what the rate of inflation multiplier is now, it's
It'll be less than 5 for
it's
sure.
less than 5, but it's in the 3s, I think. But I'm talking about the money we have to raise on the assessed side.
Oh,
That percentage is way lower than last year, so sales might have. Not stabilized, slowed down, I think, lake properties not, but all these other properties, there's more inventory on the market now than there
Well,
was.
yeah, Lake is just,
Did that Crescent Beach thing actually go through for 1.6 million? You know which
You
one?
mean you're talking about the one in the spring?
Not May's house,
No, the one next to Maze.
it's down a little closer to me.
Oh, not yet, well, not that I know of.
Pending.
Yeah, I haven't seen the.
I mean, the marina one, the
No,
little.
no, this is a house.
This is far nicer.
No, that, yeah,
But still, it's not that.
we need someone that has a lot of money to buy that and redo that. That marina thing would be a great project for you over there.
To turn it into.
VRO, whatever it is, vacation rental by owners.
They got a barn venue for a wedding, you're all set.
oh, yeah.
No parking. But it's a
Cross
good.
the road.
I'll work with the planning commission.
Yeah, that's right. Make sure your stakes are driven in real deep.
Okay, let's go. Invasive species.
Oh, let's see. I think our last meeting, I told you that there was a treatment scheduled for June 10th. So then following that, July 1st and 2nd, they did a comprehensive survey. About 5 acres were treated in June. They were treated for Eurasian water milfoil, curly leaf pondweed, and starry stonewort. They feel the treatments were effective. When they did the comprehensive survey, they said they saw small patches of Eurasian water milfoil when they did the new inventory, but it was so small, they suggest just leaving it alone. The curly leaf pondweed dies off in the summer, so there was no evidence of it. But when they do their end of season survey, they kind of cautioned us that there may need to be a treatment for that because it tends to have a resurgence in the fall. Their feeling is the lake looks good. They are not recommending any treatment right now. And like I said, may need it in the fall. And then just kind of as a heads up, you may remember last year, because of the timing of getting permits and everything, we didn't do a formal RFP for, lake treatment. We just went with PLM because everybody knew them and they only did a 1-year contract. So we will start working on an RFP for a treatment contractor for the future. That probably won't come before the board till the end of the year.
Is it usually like a 3-year contract? They do.
We did a 3-year with Kaiser, so I don't know what we're gonna do. My opinion right now would be to do 2 years, so it lines up with the lake manager. But that's just my opinion. That's not anything kind of fun to me.
I was just thinking if they're gonna give you a better deal because you extend the contract longer, maybe not.
No, usually they put in an inflation factor for the 3 years.
An uplift,
What?
an uplift.
An uplift.
Nothing's,
I'll tell
nothing's
you,
cheap.
we've been really pleased with Kaiser as the lake manager.
They seem pretty thorough.
It's, the thing is, we're getting live information. They really look at it from a scientific viewpoint and they're not like,
Just
let's
dumping,
treat, let's treat,
yeah.
let's treat.
Okay,
Yeah, we've all been pretty impressed.
okay.
They wanna use the least amount of product to get the goal done, which is fun.
And they're double checking, they're doing 3 surveys. Reporting it to us, which we're hoping to have some of that to be able to put on the site shortly. But their approach is just far better than my opinion will be had.
Good. Good questions? None. Okay, we're going on unfinished business, website, Civic Plus.
So Jennifer and I have been working with Civic Plus. As you might recall, the platform that we're on is open source, it's Drupal 7. And they were going to try to migrate everybody that had that to Drupal 10 because Drupal 7 was end of life and it's not gonna be supported anymore, but they were having trouble getting the functionality that they wanted. So they've decided to move all of their Drupal 7 customers that agree to it to their kind of more proprietary flagship product. And so we went back and forth with some of the reps from Civic Plus to try to figure out what that would look like in regards to, one, we have paid in advance for a redesign. We've been doing that since we started. We pay a little bit extra to get a redesign every 4 or 5 years. And then also to try to keep the costs, somewhat in line with what we were paying. And I think we got it down to a point where we have a workable proposal. It'll be a custom type template, a limited number of modules, but it covers all the bases that we need, right?
Mhm.
And the one thing we didn't do, and Jennifer can probably talk to us a little bit more, is the ADA stuff. Do you wanna talk about that a little bit?
Right, so they're offering an ADA module at this point, which allows for different things such as changing the level of contrast. We can already change the size, but doing different things like that, or a read aloud, et cetera, et cetera. And that from last month, if you remember, I think that came under their Cloud Flare module. However, we're not required to do that until 27. So I feel like we should wait. Before we.
The
go ahead with
regs
that
may change,
expense.
but they could change.
Correct.
I think it's audio eyes.
Oh, yes, you're correct. Audio.
Just automatically reads it
Cloud
to you.
Flare is security.
It kind of is a layer between the user and the website so that if they have needs, it'll kind of adjust.
Right. So if you have issues with low vision, you could change the contrast so that you're reading white letters on a black background instead of black on white, or whatever it is. You can do whatever. And we already have some ADA functionality. So for example, whenever there's a graphic up there, it won't let you post with a graphic until you put in alternative text, which is a descriptor of the graphic, so that somebody who's impaired can hover over that and it will say, this is a picture of people attending a meeting. This is a picture of a bridge, whatever it is.
Cool.
So,
So anyway, the proposal was in the packet. I can get to it here. And they've been holding a spot for us and they're getting a little bit antsy because it's gonna start backing up. So if we decide that we want to move ahead with this, then we'll get that back to our person right away and they'll try to get a schedule. I'm not entirely sure when that's gonna be, but basically it's 3,800 plus 800 for this annual security and hosting, so $4,600 total.
And then on a yearly basis, it's going to be.
4,600. The other thing we didn't do is we did not, we thought it'd be best to not pay for an advanced redesign. I was talking to Jennifer, we do that at the city. And it's nice to freshen it up, but I actually kind of like the older design better than the newer one. So I think what we have on here now is perfect. I like it. I like the look of it. I don't, we may change it some because we're getting it. But I don't know that you need to do that every 5 years, but what we do need to do is make sure that we're, the content's relevant and that we're keeping that up to date and that sort of stuff. That's more important. As long as everybody's happy with the look and feel, that isn't gonna change a whole lot because it's kind of what it is.
I think sometimes maybe the ease of use of knowing how to navigate the website for some people is
Right.
easier if it doesn't change that much.
It is, that's absolutely true. And this website, some of the functionality will be, one, easier to maintain.
Oh,
And
that's
two,
nice.
it'll be easier, I think, for people to maybe look stuff up. It just.
User friendly kind
Yeah,
of.
it's not that this one is bad. I actually think we have a very, very good website right now, but this will make it better.
When are you making that motion?
I'd make a motion that we execute, what did they call it? The statement of work?
mhm.
So we can get it to Civic Plus and then get this, redesign and upgrade done or scheduled.
Second.
Discussion? None? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that's carried.
Yeah, signage, that's me. So in your packet, you'll have a couple of options for signage. And I've created a handy dandy spreadsheet just from my own talking notes that I'm happy to share with all of you. Different things that we're looking at prices for. Signage is at the bottom. So the first thing I want to address is the signage on what I'm calling the 3 ovals. Those are the oval signs that are on the Township Hall. This should have been in your packet.
Yeah.
That cost is $325. It's some sort of digital printing, which is exactly what they did the last time. They'll use the signs, etc. Do the digital graphics on them. They'll be all nice and fresh. That was $325 for that. Then in the proposal was what they call a rules sign. This is for the parking lot. The sign would say, parking lot is for township business, fire and EMS use only. Violators will be towed at owner's expense. They're recommending 2 signs, and here they've superimposed it onto a picture of the parking lot. They're recommending 2 signs. One that faces.
Like when you drive in, obviously.
Right when you drive in, and then another one that faces the other way, so you'd be reading it from M22 as opposed to pulling in the lot.
And you send that around, because that wasn't in the packet.
Has anyone heard from,
Just the oval made it in.
have you heard from the Blue Slipper guys at all? So we
We got one more to
expressed
share.
concern a couple times. I don't know if
Yeah,
anyone heard them.
So
To answer your question, I have not, no,
Oh, okay.
So
but I
that's
have not initiated anything.
$17.50 a sign.
And you want, so to be like, what, one on either side of the,
Well, here's the thing, my recommendation, because their original proposal was for 2 big signs and only 7 fire EMS individual parking slots. I'm suggesting, I think we would be better served with 1 rule sign and a sign at every single spot. For a couple of reasons. First of all, people will do, well, this sign isn't marked off. I can park here. I'm not parking in the fire one. I can park here. Even though the big sign is right there, people are gonna do what they're gonna do. And so I think we need to have that. And I think we need to have, I don't like Johnson's design for the fire EMS. I've come up with something that I think is better, that the fire chief likes, which is this. We'll put in some verbiage down here
Oh, yeah.
that says
Graphic.
towed at owner's expense.
I can't read.
Hmm?
Is that could happen?
That's the one, that's your check mark, sir.
Yep.
That's one we did. I would recommend something similar to this. This is just a dummy. I would graphically it could be better, but something like this at the other spots. We could probably put our logo in there. I would center the spacing a little better.
so we're thinking about having 2 different types of reserved parking spots, however that might be in the parking lot.
Correct, because I think fire EMS needs to be red and white. And then ours could be like lovely, classy township looking.
I have can we back up 2 steps, just so, I know we talked about this last month. This is a publicly owned parking lot, and we as a municipality have the ability to restrict access to that. That's what MPA determined.
Correct.
My question is, how many spaces do we realistically need to have reserved? And it feels to me like we could get by with 1/2 of this parking lot by the township hall. I'm not sure I'm in support of closing this parking lot entirely to public use. Now, I know there was the comment made, and this is the part that I wasn't tracking on, that because it's primarily one business that's utilizing it, it almost feels like it's their parking lot, and that triggers some kind of a concern. However, I think that that's a vibrant part of the community, and, you know, we spent taxpayer dollars to pave this parking lot. What if I wanted to park here and walk the whole length of town to go shopping and then come back? I mean, I'm not entirely sure I want to close this entire parking lot off. I guess I don't think that's appropriate.
Here's my position on why it should be. We've had now, just since I've been clerk, 3 occasions where fire EMS has not been able to utilize the parking lot because other members of the public are using it for whatever reason.
Mhm.
So there's one.
There's
Two,
one there.
Two, we've been utilizing this hall more for township business. We had a full house this afternoon at the ZBA.
Right.
Nobody complained that they weren't able to find a parking spot in here, but people did have to park on the street as well. I also think by having it being public parking, you're opening yourself up for liability issues. But overriding all of that is that if this parking lot isn't available for township business and for fire and EMS, what do we even have it for then? Should we all park on, I just think the fact that we've already had 3 incidences is enough to me.
Right, but how many spots are on this side of the parking lot?
I think there's 21 altogether, including the handicap, and those would stay, those are,
The whole lot is 20,
I think so.
20 on each side.
No,
Whole
no,
lot
there's
is 20.
21,
side, I just stood up.
there's 20 on the other side? No.
I think so,
Yeah.
because I was wondering when you said he signed in front of every parking place. Oh, no, I was counting that, sorry, it looks like 14 or 15. I
Okay,
can't.
we got about 30.
well, not quite, because we're,
No.
this gets smaller here, but yeah, you can go count them real easy, 28 to 30.
So also, I think signage at every spot also creates a bit of a barrier too. We're gonna, on that side, right? This side, we have some spots on the building, so we're not having to pay for extra posts there.
So I don't remember, but back when that was, it's been 10 years ago when Brian Kissel was running it, right?
Right,
And it was fairly popular. Did we have the parking issues then with it? Were people using the parking lot at that point in time?
I know people, when Brian was there, used the parking lot just because I remember cars being parked there, but I couldn't
we parked there
tell you.
here, I mean, yeah,
Yeah, the recycling trailer would have taken up about 7.
yeah,
or
we
8
had the
of those spots.
recycle trailer and the bins were here, so there was limited parking and then. Yeah, but there was people parked over here, because we parked over
It feels to me like if we reserved this side, which is closest to the township hall, if you want to reserve a couple more spots up in that corner, that would be reasonable to me, but I'm not sure. I think we should close this whole parking lot. That's just my opinion.
Or like maybe make the, whatever that would be, east half of the lot, call it public parking or something.
here. No, just don't call
No,
it
it's a
anything.
mistake by telling anybody in the public, this is public parking. Yes, it's publicly paid for. It's not public parking,
Well, it is because we haven't prohibited it. We don't have an ordinance.
right?
Right,
And those
so we
things can
do
be
that.
taken in,
Right.
into.
But I
account.
mean, but communities pay for public parking all the time. You can designate the parking lot or whatever you want it to be. I mean, we have lots of public parkings,
Right.
public parking
So-
lots in Manistee.
So my argument also to the business that's adjacent is that the parking lot at the Glenwood is small. People park on the street and walk back.
They do. All the time.
I don't think the business adjacent to us should be utilizing this as overflow parking for customers or employees or their regulars.
What does that thing keep making that noise for?
Wow, I'm not sure.
Weird.
What,
You don't hear that noise?
Is it who?
the who? The owl?
So,
Okay,
So can I,
yeah, speak up.
so back. When you're talking about the other person owner, I don't personally remember the issues that we're having today, right? So I can only speak of current. A couple things that kind of have buttons that push me is when the majority of their parking lot is empty. And all of our spaces are taken up because nobody wants to be parked in front of a bar. They want to be parked somewhere else, so they're not being watched, right?
Didn't think of
So
that.
there's some of that, right? And so when we pull in here, it's like all these spots through here are taken up that way. It looks like they're doing something at the township. And then we're parking somewhere else, right? So that's a little frustrating. The the trash that's left behind is a little bit frustrating for me. We try to take pride in our building, and then we have people leaving stuff in the parking lot after a busy night. There's other things that were in the report that we've seen. And so the other side is just the pure attitude of the people using it. Right? So we about get broadsided by someone flying into the parking lot because they're either late for work or they want to get there. And then we get the dirty look from them, like, how dare you be in my way? Right? That just doesn't set right. I come in here trying to get to, we had a subject not breathing, and I had a car parked in the center of the driveway, so you couldn't get around either side of him. And he just stood there and stared at me. And I had my little red light going, and I sat there, and he just looked at me. And finally I said, whoa. And so he backed up and got out of my way. Now, there was a car that had been there all afternoon. I'm not gonna make any assumptions. But he just didn't even recognize me as a rescue person trying to get into the fire department to get her.
With a red light going, yeah.
And a red light going, right? I'm not asking for any special treatment. I just recognize what is in front of you,
Yeah.
right? So liability purposes, if you have that mindset of people driving into your parking lot, it's just a matter of time before they run into your building, or they hit somebody, or they take out your sign, or they've already done this, they ran over your sprinkler heads. They'll never stop. They'll never stop. They will always go over that grass.
It
Right?
wasn't.
Well, people are driving.
When they plowed it last year, wasn't it?
That and or the heavy equipment that's been driving over the grass. That guy that has the truck with the trailer, I seen him go down over the grass, so I don't know. And I.
They come from this parking lot down that way.
Correct. So is the proposal for the parking places for fire rescue? Are we talking about going that way?
I want them on this side.
You're talking across the parking lot?
Yes.
On the other side of it, and I do wanna be a good neighbor. Right, I understand that, and because I was a business owner myself, and I know customers need to be able to get to your place, I get that 100%. And that's why it's hard for me to talk about the negativity of the use of the parking lot. Because I know without it, maybe some people will go somewhere else because they don't wanna park on 22 and walk a block down. But on the other hand, we've parked in Shirley's parking lot or whatever to run over to the fire department.
Right, but on the other hand too, again, wanting to be a good neighbor. But when we're trying to get out, and I know weed's legal to a point, but they're in their cars parked up against the building, hot boxing and doing whatever. And then we're getting, you know, scowled at and called whatever and sworn at because we're trying to rush into the building. I mean, it just makes you feel very underappreciated.
And I think being a good neighbor is a two-way street. And so. Okay, but part of my reason for wanting the parking spots over there is to cut down on the businesses, customers using this as a, because they'll pull in here because it's nicer than his parking lot. Even
Well,
if there are
absolutely,
spaces
that's the number
available.
one reason. It's easier to get into than their parking lot.
Well, they can park down at Belknap and walk.
Yeah, I do have, as long as we're talking parking, because this will become an issue, it's been an issue for me already. Is there any way we can stripe from the exit of our parking lot back yellow where they can't park? Because we have people parking right up to the edge of that. You cannot see to get out onto 22 when you're pulling out of this parking lot. Somebody's gonna get.
We were at a meeting and a guy got in an accident right
Yes,
there.
yeah, the other day. I mean, so that is an issue and I don't know how that
Well,
gets
that's an
dealt with
MDOT
because.
issue.
Say that again.
That's
So when you pull up with a big car, big SUV or a truck with a boat and.
On the road.
Can't see, yeah.
Yeah, so in order to be able to.
Is there a setback from an intersection? I don't know.
Well, I think it's worth asking. But the problem is if we close this whole parking lot, that's gonna force more people to park there. Cause it's the next closest spot and there are some visibility issues, I think.
Oh, I see what you're
You're
saying.
gonna have it all the way down 22 then, because it's the
Yeah.
same thing, but the school and at the end of Zozo, and it's the same thing.
So to your point, there's two signs up right now that says no parking between signs type thing.
Or beyond
And
this.
they are, and it just basically takes care of the driveway to the,
Fire department.
no, to the,
No. Post,
Oh,
school and the post,
okay.
and the post office road, Mill Street has that signs.
and literally, if you just take that one, I mean, you have to get permission, but if you just took that one sign and put it back with
Yeah,
the entry to our driveway, that would take that whole section, there would be a sign there, then there would be a sign there, no parking between signs.
I don't know how many spots are between our road and the, like 2 or 3 maybe or something.
Probably three.
But those do get used, but it's, anyway, just,
The big thing is when there's and it happens for, and I know why, because it's easy for them, but there have been a couple different trucks with pontoon boats
you know,
that park there. And so when we come out with our rescue, and even our brush truck to some degree, you can't see around that pontoon boat.
right.
Mhm.
And the
And
engine
people
was
come
identified.
flying around the corner. There's been times that you go, you know, left, right, you look right again, as you're, and the car's like already on you. Which is,
So, yeah, I know what you're talking about there.
So at minimum, whatever we do with the signage, I do want to move ahead with the 3 oval signs. I know that's way below our dollar budget that I need approval for, but I do want to move ahead with that. If we want to keep discussing the sign thing. Okay,
well, we've talked about it for a while now. I don't know what are people's thoughts?
I'm leaning a little towards you, but I want Rob, I had talked to Rob and asked exactly how many spots do you think we should reserve for EMS fire? And we thought 5 or 6 for sure. at least. Yeah, or something like that.
7.
Okay. Would you rather see it that side or this side?
That doesn't really matter too much.
If you
to
put
me.
them on this side,
Yeah.
people doing township business then can't park here.
Right.
Right,
That's-
that's good.
That's why I want them, partly the
Okay.
reason I wanted them over there.
So are
See, I'd be more inclined to doing that now to see what happens. As opposed to, I don't know, putting,
Well, what I'm wondering is, and I'm not, I guess if I talk out loud, I'm not even sure I'm agreeing with what I'm saying, but thinking about putting the 6 or 7 or whatever on that side for fire, putting township parking, business, blue and white signs along here, and then just be silent on the 7 left over there.
Cause those are the 7 that are kind of closest to the restaurant. I don't know. And you know, do we need 15 here for township business either?
I don't, that was one of the reasons I stood up and looked, cause I mean, I understand Jennifer's point about 1 in front of every single space. But then I'm partly aesthetically thinking about it and going like, ooh, you know, just sign.
Well, if you
So-
did every space over there, you'd have a de facto fence, which would keep people from driving over it in the winter and driving across it with their
Maybe.
whatever. If you did that way,
Flower.
if you do the one big blue and white one at the driveway, saying that it's reserved for township business, it's not public parking, and your 7 reserved for the fire department. And then see how people
I think that's what I would favor.
people comply with the request that that this be saved for township business, for a township board meeting, for a ZBA, for the CPR class. That was
Because-
last night, that the other half of the parking lot was filled with restaurant.
But because when I think of Saturdays or Sundays, which Saturdays would be or Friday nights when they're very busy, as long as there's a reserve. The odds of there being significant
That, yeah.
business on a Friday night or Saturday. would be small.
What about association meetings and other meetings that are conducted here where I see what you're getting at now?
Mhm.
So this is also the only recognized medical training facility in Manistee County. So
Yeah.
Any medical, not that it happens monthly, I'm not saying that,
No,
but there will probably be a few times a year that you'll have,
This is a recognized training facility.
that's why the CPR classes were going on here.
mhm.
Never thought about that.
Well, if you had the big blue sign that said reserved for township official, EMS, whatever, only. And you don't sign anything individually, and somebody's parking there, you can say, hey, do you see the sign? Yeah, but it's not marked on the parking lot, right? But still, there's a sign. If you have that big sign that says reserved for township business and you don't mark every parking lot, it's the exact same argument. I didn't see the sign and these spots down here aren't marked. We only did 7 and we did 10 here. These are all free for parking, right? So I don't know what the answer.
That was my initial argument to saying just one sign and then individual signs.
Well, I mean, at that point, why wouldn't you just have one sign and have your little tag? And then if somebody's parking there doesn't have a tag, then, well, but here's the other issue, that you can have members of the public that don't have a tag. So how are you gonna distinguish that? I mean, I guess if the township is closed and you've got members of the public without a tag, I don't know what the right answer is.
Well, that's the other thing.
It's very complicated.
bulletin board.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Right, someone just pulled that, well, that's township business, that's township business, well, you might need it.
yeah.
The
Yes, I
attorney
keep reading the bulletin
recommended,
board
I
after every
pulled in
drink.
all the information from the MTA attorney. That this not be open for public parking, and Tom Greer is the one who said, you got a hot issue at the township, you're gonna need every parking spot in here.
Well, I must ask, what did they say about, you put violation will be towed, do we have to pass a,
Ordinance.
ordinance, separate ordinance, parking ordinance?
Or
No.
add it to an existing ordinance.
And then
Who's gonna
Tom
call?
and I-
who would call and then who do they
I did
bill?
my homework on that. I did talk to the towing company, but I thought, well, maybe they would come and tow unless law enforcement asked them to, but he said, yes, he said, if you have an ordinance and you have signage, and you can prove that that vehicle doesn't belong there, I will hook onto it and tow it to my lot. I will get the information off the license plate, send the bill to them, because I thought maybe he'd send the bill to the township, and then we'd have to figure out how to collect, right? He said, no, he would bill the owner of the vehicle.
Well, see, and the one attorney told me that we'd have to pay it and then we'd be reimbursed. Once they paid the bill,
That's why I asked the record driver that we would probably call, most,
John or whoever, yeah.
And he said, no, he said, I do that. He said, I just
Okay.
go and then
I never asked.
they don't get their vehicle back until they pay their bill. So it's under lock and key at his place until they come and pay the bill. Basically impounded.
In Chicago, they have the tow truck parked right out in front, ready to take action.
Well, and the other issue with that is too, every day they don't pick them up, he charges them $50 storage.
And
You get it?
I suspect you're not gonna have to tell that many people before word is out.
So let me ask you this, special, it would simplify it a little.
Yeah.
Do you have this? And I think maybe we talked, but do we have this decipher between fire rescue and township official, because we consider the township official on fire department?
No.
We're not considered a township.
No, you're considered an employee for ESTA,
well, I
But
think you
you
just say
will always
township
those-
business, I mean, that's.
but you want those reserved at all times for fire and EMS, because if it's Saturday and we have individuals in the public utilizing it, because, well, township calls closed on Saturday. But we've taken every spot and we have a fire on a Saturday,
That's what I knew there was something.
so
Yeah, well,
I think you're
the
better
reason I
off.
think it's gotta be foot fire too. Let's just say we had a contentious issue at a board meeting.
Right. We could,
I mean, you could have the same problem with
Right.
rescue. If you
Right,
can't hear.
and
That's right.
And that was
Right.
Tom's,
That's the part that concerns me the most is you guys. The rest of it, I get it, but, that I have no problem.
Fire EMS has gotta be, they look at it.
I have no problem
But
with
now
that.
what you could do aesthetically is try just paint, put the one sign up. Maybe, or just paint, EMS only on 5 spots, and you don't have to look at like.
Except for in the winter.
except for the winter, except for people who don't look down, except for,
Blue slippers closed in the winter.
except for
No, it's not.
members of the public who are using this as overflow parking, who park in the handicap spot with no tag and no license plate. little logo on the license plate or the temporary tag.
Well, they can be towed.
Already.
I know that I have, personally, I have no problem with the fire EMS or whatever signs up that I've got absolutely no problem with. The rest of them, I'm as comfortable with.
Okay, so what do we wanna do? And what am I hearing? Is we're gonna go ahead with the 3 oval signs? We need to discuss this more, or do you wanna
No,
put this, what do you
I
wanna
would
do?
like to go ahead with the 3 oval signs,
Okay,
the big rules sign, but just one of them, and 7 fire EMS individual spots. And we'll see how it goes.
I'd be comfortable with that,
And
and
if
then we could
I'm-
add the others.
If I'm wrong,
It's
no
not-
problem, and if I'm right.
So on the
Need some more
big,
signs.
can we see the big rule sign? That's-
Well, this was just their thing. I think we can make it look nicer.
I'd like it to kind of match
I
our.
think.
our signs.
Yeah, it could, we could have a little logo on it and something and have it look, you want it to be an oval as well?
Well, I don't know, if it has to be oval, but
Right, this was just their quick.
it might be nice to have the oval, something.
Right, or, yeah,
Just to kind
that
of
was
be
just
keep-
their quick.
Or the
mock-up
little
to give us
waves or whatever.
An idea of what it might look like.
Have a theme?
Oh, calming waves.
Calming waves.
That's my motion.
How is that gonna make it any better?
All right,
It'll look friendly. When your car's.
Is that, did you make that
That's my
motion?
motion.
okay.
You want the waves on the side? Is there a second? I'm sorry,
I
I
want
already
this
beat
to
this.
look like it belongs in the family.
Okay, there, you know what? That's fine. That's a good, okay, so now is there a second, Matt?
I will second the family sign.
Stop.
So how many, so wait a minute, so we're here, we're making a thing.
I want it to look like it.
She wants a more friendly looking
I
sign.
have no problem with that.
Smiley.
Well, I'm happy to redesign it how it's used.
Okay, so let's say we're going to reconfirm the design of the sign after we have other things to look at. We're not just gonna order a sign without everyone looking.
Correct.
Okay, so you're making a motion for 3 oval signs
Yeah, big,
for the
big one in the family.
signage for the township hall.
Yeah.
You're making the thing for this one big rule sign,
Yeah,
as long as it looks better.
yeah.
Mhm.
And
It's like
6 or
balloons in the
7
family.
for the fire guys.
The red ones with the little tow truck guy, I like those.
Thank you.
They want $900 to install a sign,
It doesn't match your theme.
That, it's not gonna.
$200. I'm sorry, they want $450.
Neither does the great trim on the red building, but I digress.
No, don't do that. Oh,
That's my motion.
do you think Bob and I could just install the sign? My God, what is?
No, but I said, oh.
What are you talking about, the big sign?
Yes,
Wasn't that you said out loud?
it's
That's-
$450. I mean, for 2 posts?
Can I make a
I'll help you
motion
do
that
it.
you
No.
not do that?
You're saying 450. Oh, because of the 2 signs you divided it in half?
It's really not, it's 425, but it's 437.50.
Yes.
Only $215 per post.
I have a bunch of posts now we can use. They just say public access, you know.
Wants to
Ooh,
say.
those are heavy duty.
Yes, I
And he
did, pushed your
seconded
key for a second.
I did.
Oh.
They already seconded, it's this discussion.
Question, please.
Well, wait a minute, so clarify, you want 1 sign, 1 install, and 7 other signs. Is that what you're saying?
We have to supply the posts for the 7 other sides.
Right, which I looked online at post prices and I thought, I wonder if we could just buy them direct from the road commission.
Yeah, probably. I mean, they're not gonna be super tall, are they?
Yes. Well,
They gotta be at least tall enough to see your windshield, maybe you're not tall enough for a Humvee, which there is a Humvee who parks in the handicap spot.
Arcadia Bluff.
There you go.
Sort of like that, yeah.
Yeah.
okay, everyone done discussing? I'm gonna call for the vote. Is this enough money? You want me to do a roll call? You just,
Mm-mm, I don't
okay,
think you need one on the dollar amount.
all those in favor say aye.
Great,
Opposed, I'm opposed, so
well, you didn't have a tie, so.
I know. But since it's not a roll call vote, it'll never show up. Okay, irrigation.
Irrigation, I get it on your.
We only have 1 bid.
No, we have 3 bids for irrigation and the irrigation is for the Township Hall and the North Point Park. I'm going to recommend, my personal recommendation is that we go with Shoreline Irrigation, which is Caleb Gilbert from Arcadia, even though he is $3.75 higher, than the lowest bid. I thought that he was
Okay.
very easy to work with. He was very reasonable. He did a little bit of work here at the township hall, and he didn't upcharge us for any of the parts. He just. The $3 part was our our cost for $3. He
Okay,
did not charge that at all. Four Seasons did bid on North Point Park, but not here at the township hall, despite a couple of requests. And then S&J Landscaping. Their bid, and I had to fuss a little bit with it. Their original quote was $9,693.41, but it included 5,600 feet of irrigation, and the bid was 2,000 feet of irrigation. So I did just a little bit of rough calculation off of that number, to get somewhere close to what it would be. I didn't adjust the labor, which there would be presumably an adjustment there. And they were at 7,600. Those are the same folks that did the work here at the township hall and charged us over $1,800 for.
So
Okay.
Shoreline is doing the stuff at North Point Park, that's included in the $3,000, or that is the $3,000?
no,
Yeah, that is the $3,000 is for North Point Park, and then he gave me just a verbal bid to open and close the township halls, $100 each time he comes.
Well, I think Shoreline Irrigation does a good job. I agree, they're easy to work with. They've got the, you know,
are you making a motion?
he didn't let me finish my.
I'm sorry.
Oh, he does? I'll make a motion that we do, Shoreline Irrigation for this.
Okay, second? Cindy?
Sure.
Okay, discussion, none being heard, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. The vote, we already talked about, I still gotta find a contractor. I wonder if this Gilbert would do it. See a contract, the guy doing the irrigation?
He's doesn't do fence, so then.
Hey, the guy that's putting in the posts for the signs out front, maybe he's good at fences.
I think if you got,
Yeah.
if we approach a fence company,
Okay,
I think we,
you'll hear back from them, I'm assuming.
I reached
Okay.
out to Straight Line Fence.
there's Apple
to see,
fence,
And
there's,
we're doing just a little bit, yeah.
there's some in
Apple Fence.
Cadillac, there's. Did we talk about the
No, I don't.
painting?
Painting. No, we didn't, and it should be on unfinished business. So on your bid sheet, complete with notes. I reached out to multiple actual vendors. A couple of them are like, oh, sounds great, we don't do that work. But I did find three. So A-Class Construction and Restoration, which is doing the siding. Vork Brothers, originally from Zealand, but they do have a Traverse City office. And M&D Painters, which is in Manistee. Now, he came, he did an estimate. And I can't get a response. I can't get I don't want it, I'm too busy, nothing. He didn't respond to phone call, text messages, or emails. Vort is $5,000. And they do a lot of work up and down the west coast of the state. They have a very good reputation. They're relatively, all the employees and the owners and everything are on like 40-ish, somewhere in there, so a lot of young folks doing the work. And then A-Class, of course, is who's currently doing the siding in the township hall.
I would move for approval of Work Brothers.
Oh, thank goodness.
What does VBP stand for? VBP North, VBP.
That's Vork Brothers Painting North, which is the Traverse City office, and the other one is the Zealand.
So my only question is, do you know what? The A class, it doesn't make a difference. I'd like them not to use acrylic latex paint on the building. They need to use something. I mean, it looks like they are on their other stuff, but it didn't say on the metal. Whereas A class said they're gonna use acrylic latex, which I don't think you paint this building with latex paint.
Correct. This one is an alkali urethane.
If that's what they're doing on the metal, that'd be great. But I would support the work if that's.
You guys
And this
doing a second?
includes- huh?
Okay, he just seconded it.
Okay,
Discussion, do we need to discuss it? Discussion,
I don't think so.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that's carried.
Work also includes the repainting of the
Doors,
balusters. They'll do the doors too, so
okay,
not the front,
no, the front's
but
separate.
the
on-
other 5 doors.
Nice job. Thank you for giving the votes.
Thank you. So do you want to go into closed session now, or do you want to finish this and you put closed session off till after new business?
Well, part of the new business,
No, never
We
mind.
discussed it, yeah.
Well, to me, if you could move closed session, it's nicer for people that are here, because if they don't want to stay for us to come out of closed session, they can at least hear everything, but do what makes you
I mean,
happy.
you could do the Drake request and the Dumbler request and the township insurance.
Okay, well, let's do that. We'll just put the
Yeah.
software.
We already talked about the recycling station.
Kind of.
Dumbler is what we talked about for roads, so we can talk about that at, when we get closer, but I think I'd be in favor of just saying, yeah, that's a good
Oh, on
project.
the lakeside going north, or whatever that is.
Correct.
Feels like a good pilot project to me, but.
Yeah, especially if they're willing to. eventually-
Is that what his request was, wasn't it? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
Let me look again, is that the same street?
Yeah,
Hey, I trust you.
no, it's,
Thank you, Lakeside.
yeah, there's too many lakes. Yeah, there is a lot of lake roads.
Yeah, but I thought what we said is that we're gonna take action tonight.
No, but I think as a general thing, that'll be a great test for that product, for one
Yeah.
thing, and it's way
Dumbler?
cheaper.
I shouldn't just say like that.
Yeah, that's
Mr.
what it
Du-
is.
Mr. Doomler, I misspelled his name. Mr. Doomler is Lakeside,
Yeah,
and Lakeside is what Brad was talking about.
correct.
Okay,
So we already dealt with that.
let me check this.
Drake, what is the Drake request?
Repaving Bonita Way.
Yeah, Bonita Way, okay, I made in my notes.
Bonita Way paid?
that it-
Not
No.
repaving.
Paving, I was gonna say paving.
Regarding paving, not
Oh.
repaving.
Lake-
So why don't we put that on our, when we do our road thing, just consider that request.
Yeah.
Then, same as we're gonna do with Dumblers actually, but I think that was
Maybe squirt some of that cool stuff on that road too.
if that stuff works.
I
mean,
mean,
interesting to see if it
that'd be
works.
so much more efficient and cheaper and.
Well, I don't know how we can even pave roads anymore if it's really $1,000,000 we gotta pay
Nobody can do it.
$700,000. I don't know how you can. The governor will fix it, in the road. And see it coming already.
Okay, so
Township insurance.
Did we skip wetlands?
No, we did so far. Is that,
So- Township insurance, I would very much like to. One. Maybe get our insurance reps in to kind of explain to us what coverages we have and what everything is, all that we've got currently. But I would like to get a competitive bid, with the MML property and casualty pool, cause they do a bunch of townships as well.
okay,
For some or all, and just make
Just
sure we're
this-
getting a fair shake on. I don't know that that's been done.
no, it hasn't.
Um,
You say you're supposed to do that every so many years.
I just think it'd be smart to do that. So if that's something that the township board is interested in kind of moving forward with, I can try to coordinate that. I just think that would be important
I agree.
to do at some point.
I agree. Okay, cause I had done mine for years and I did it 3 years ago and figured out when he got all done that basically told me not to switch.
So that could, and that might very well be the outcome.
And
You might find out you're good, yeah, but you don't know until.
With that said, I think they've treated us fairly with the claims we've had, so we're not unhappy with them, but there may be a chance that there's some money there and have equally as good insurance.
And I'm gonna add some on new business and I might as well just bring it up. So up in Pierport, they have an individual that's been, I think we've seen the emails back and forth for the people on the beach. Jennifer's been checking, we've been going back and forth. He requested that the township board, to me, that we somehow, I don't know if he wants us to pay for a sign, he didn't say pay for a sign, but where the beach becomes from the public access to privately owned, there's signs up there now that have been, I don't know, destroyed or vandalized. And I don't think we can pay for a sign, but he'd like a sign that made some mention of the Onekama Township, that in fact, the beach for the public ends here. And this is private. The problem is, this isn't our beach.
You know what? That's exactly what those signs that were there said before they got spray painted over. They were a little in your face, they were a little big, but they were absolutely 100% accurate.
They were.
And then somebody
I know.
spray painted them, so I don't even wanna get involved with that.
Okay, so he brought up the point, if I would bring it up, that he'd like some help from the township because it's a.
I mean, we've got the galvanized posts. Right? There should be on either end of that road.
Correct, those are still there.
Yeah.
Those have been there and
There's your road end.
And I called the sheriff because he said he called for somebody that was trespassing and they never came. I called the sheriff, and then the sheriff came out
The
2 weeks
sheriff was
ago.
On August 9th and on August tenth, and then last week. And I don't know that this is connected, the state police were down there. That might have been a different issue, I don't know.
And told them they couldn't lounge on the beach, basically.
They can't. They can
Right,
only-
but that's what they told him. And that's what his complaint has been, is they're camping out in front of his house and it's become a, like they own the property and. She's been up there, looked, he's still still has a private road sign, and I know he's bringing that up in the email today, and I don't know if it's because it's on. Is it on that person's property? It's hard to
Yes, it
tell.
is. It's on Mr. I believe that property owner's name is Mike Hayes.
Okay,
That I'm happy to be fact checked on, but that parcel of property is on his private property. It is not at the road end. It wasn't at the road end the first day I observed it. It's not at the road end now that those signs have been replaced.
so where is it? To the east, a ways, east, or,
I mean, yeah,
okay,
and it just says private drive. It doesn't say anything other than private drive. And in essence, all of, that road going to the east, there's 4 houses on it, 5 houses.
yeah, it's not a private drive though. It might be at the end, but where it goes there, it's a platted,
Right.
it's a platted road back there, I don't know how many feet.
And at the end,
It becomes somebody else's property,
it is not only is it somebody else's property, but it's not in our township.
correct?
So, but that sign that says private drive is when you turn to the east, the very first house on the south side is Innisfree. I don't know who lives there, Innisfree. The sign isn't there. The sign is past that on this gentleman's property.
I'll go look tomorrow. I'll look at Onyx and see, maybe it's on I have no idea, but anyways, that's his. So he wanted to know if we give him any help, but I don't know if we can pay, I don't wanna pay for a sign, it's not our road, and,
At the
mean-
airport,
yeah,
it's not our road end. They paid for the original signs and the original signs are on private property.
which I told him he'd put more signs up, he'd like to use the township, somehow say Onekama Township in the wording, and I said, well,
I think he needs to go to the road commission, since the road commission owns that road end for theirs.
well, he's not asking for that part, he wants something that says the township's telling you from this point forward, it's private property, that's why he wants to use the township, not for the beach part of it, cause I know that, but,
I don't see why that's our issue.
okay.
There was one more new item that I added, which is Arborvitae Road End.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I'm gonna put these up on the screen.
Are you not going back there?
We are.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Okay, well, then I'll leave the radio off.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can we turn back on when we're done?
Well, I'll get in the morning.
All right.
Okay. So Dave, I know you had them run the MC numbers on that boat that's anchored out there.
Correct.
And whose did you say it was?
It's one of the neighbors.
Okay. It is directly in the middle of the Arborvitae Road End. There's no way.
That old wooden boat.
There's no
Yeah.
way that it's not, there's no way that the mooring's not in the middle of it. I talked to Tom about this a little bit today, cause I wanted to see what his opinion was, and he said it's very clear based on the ruling that the court had. That, the way they court interpreted is that the road end just extends straight out, and you can see, so he's got this mooring ball, but there's also a mooring ball here,
Right, and I've called
and that shouldn't be there either.
the.
And
Army
that's the
Corps.
legal dock thing, right?
That's, the dock is
The
legal.
dock is fine. yeah.
Yep, the dock is legal.
So
Uh,
again,
I can't get the court to do anything.
so no, but there's 2 violations of the township ordinance that we just had a settlement.
Right.
I think we need to send him a registered letter that says both of these moorings need to be vacated immediately and the moorings removed from the bottomlands. Or we're gonna do it and we're gonna revoke your dock.
Oh,
Cause this is just This is just thumbing your nose at the township. There's no way he believes that that's not in the road end. That's my opinion.
And the Corps has no permit for either one.
The Corps does, the Corps.
For that one,
This
but not the
one here,
first.
there's I'm pretty sure that's the one that was in the document for the court case, but this little one up here isn't. They had 2 moorings permitted. One of them was 100 feet out from the dock, right? So it's probably that one. And then there was another one that was 30 feet out this way, which I still think would be in the road end because it showed it as an angle. And I have those documents, I can show it. But those are clearly both in the road end. And they're not supposed to be there and they shouldn't even be in the lake. Because yes, for the one, he got a Corps permit, but it doesn't trump the township.
So how do you know the other mooring is his?
We don't know that it's his. It doesn't have any numbers on it though, so we could just go probably take it out, get somebody to take it out.
Yeah, cause they all, if they're permitted, they have a number on them, yeah.
Well, yes, they're
If they're
supposed to.
permitted.
99% of them around the lake don't have a number on them, though, but they're supposed to.
But you could call the Corps and say, where you're at, and say, here's what I'm looking for, is there a
Is there a
permit for
permitted?
this
Yeah.
mooring, which I did. And,
And there is a permitted mooring there, one maybe?
well, not the boat number, we gave him the boat number, and I had the police actually look the boat number up, and it was to one of the neighbors.
Well, you know, the township owns that 60 feet of beach, right? I mean, it's not.
We have repair, yes.
Well, yeah, so the township owns the bottomlands and the center of the lake.
A center point is in the lake
We're
somewhere.
not getting into a riparian survey.
Yeah.
The court said as extended into the lake.
Yeah, well, roughly speaking,
Yes.
so.
So
yeah.
you know.
No,
and
okay,
and
that's fine.
I hate spending more money on it, but
But no, I got,
it's,
It is maddening.
somebody got me the number
No, I
off the
can't.
boat before. Was
I got
that-
it for you.
Okay, is it the same boat number?
it's the same boat. That's the
Okay.
old picture. Likewise, and I showed this to Matt, he, you know,
Yeah,
Inspector Clouseau went out and looked, but
yeah.
what's the one, the wide one where you first come down and then it turns
Yeah.
goes along the lake? So there's a wide.
Very wide one, yeah.
Right, where people take dogs swimming and stuff.
Yep,
There's a sailboat, more,
orangey.
it's an orange one, I know.
Yeah,
it was in-
right on the line.
Right on the line. I don't think that's permitted, and I doubt that they have permission from the neighbors, but you could interpret that as being in the road end too.
Depends on which.
He said it
blows.
depends, but
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that person is skirting it because they know what to do, but
So the other one I have that we have sent a letter was a person on Clark Road.
Clark, right, same
Okay,
thing.
so the mooring buoy itself is probably not in the road end. The boat is because it's on a 50-foot leash. Okay, so the mooring buoy is on the neighbor's property. But the prevailing wind blows it this way, so it ends up in front of so I sent the letter 2 months ago or a month ago, you move your boat. He called me, he said, I'm on the neighbors.
Yeah, but if you
And the
look at-
neighbors gave me permission.
if you look at the permit application, when you have a mooring, your boat cannot swing onto the adjoining property.
Well,
So what,
can't.
so you're currently talking about Clark and the discussion.
I'm just relaying this. This is another issue. We sent him a letter today because he overnight parked. Neighbors are complaining because he parks down there. Was there for 2 nights, so I sent him a letter and said, don't do that. So you're fine, this is a warning. The next time we're gonna issue a ticket, and we sent reference the road end
I mean,
ordinance.
are you, again, I'm a private property guy. I think if I have lakefront property and I wanna have a mooring ball, I should be able to let whoever I want to moor on it. But there's something in the ordinance that says I can't have my friend have a boat on a shore station.
Correct.
Is it the same with a mooring ball?
Well, in this case, it is because the neighbor never gave him permission and actually sent him a letter and told him to move his boat.
And even if he had permission and it was legal under our zoning ordinance, his boat can't swing in front of that road end.
Right, which I told the Corps on and said, can you do something about this? Cause these people didn't, in fact, they sent him a letter and said, you gotta move your boat off our property. We never gave you permission to do that. So,
Well, that orange one would definitely be. If the wind turns and goes the other direction.
Oh, yeah.
it's gonna be way over in there, yeah.
Okay.
So as I mentioned, 50% of our problems are zoning related, and this is
Yeah, and
zoning related and waterfront related, and you have to spend some money to deal with it. But if you don't, then you get more pirate moorings and.
Well, pretty soon you're gonna have 100 moorings right along, like, they're gonna have a. Right out on each side of
So
the.
you're saying one is permitted, the far one?
It appears to be from the core drawings, permitted, but that doesn't mean it trumps our ordinance.
Correct.
It's actually, it's like a trespass in addition to road end violation,
Yeah.
because it's an obstruction. And plus it just violates that law. It's a trespass violation as well. So maybe you can get the sheriff to write a ticket and then get the county prosecutor to
Oh, yeah.
prosecute. No, no way.
Well, I don't know what the right forward it is, but I don't wanna leave this unaddressed.
Okay, no,
And it, you know, if we have to write a certified letter with maybe that's a Tom question, or, you know, I don't think we should leave, and particularly with this particular property owner, because it's just thumbing their nose. I mean, I'm inclined to tell them to get your dock out of the water too and be done with it, and I'd have to deal with this again.
well, the
Right.
boat owner there is not him.
It's like, what is a neighbor then?
Yeah.
Okay, well, then the neighbor needs to get his boat out of there,
Yeah.
that's. Okay, so if it's not Mr. Bernard, then that's good, because he's not thumbing his nose, but I'm sure the neighbor knows of the issues. You know, it's kind of hard not to.
Kind of hard not to, and
They-
then, and like I said, the Corps has no record of the mooring buoy.
No, well,
That one.
somebody had a permit for 2 mooring buoys, okay? One, if you look at the map, one approximately where my cursor is, and then another one that was out 100 feet. If we're assuming this
That's the
mooring
100
buoy never got vacated off the ground,
No,
and it was still there and somebody else is tying up to it, or maybe they sunk a new one, I mean, we don't know.
okay.
But this mooring buoy here was the one that
I was there
Tom
last
thinks
year, I
was there
think.
last year, and that one is Mr. Bernard's, and that one should be gone, and it's not. So maybe we've got 2 different letters that need to go out.
Okay,
So would you like to proceed on this, I guess,
call Tom tomorrow, let him send a letter,
to both of them?
I guess. That's the right.
I mean,
thing to do.
I think so, that's my opinion, but.
At least you'll get some answers, maybe, from whoever these buoys belong to.
I mean, and I did talk to Tom about this a little bit today, just because I wanted to be ready for the meeting, but. He feels, I mean, given the pictures, he thinks it's in violation of the ordinance.
Okay,
Red letter from township attorney.
But I wanna go through the process to, you know. If there's a ticketing process that has to happen, whatever that letter process is, but he was suggesting that, you know, and I don't think or I realize that this boat wasn't Mr. Bernard, but Bernard still have that. Now, this is, I consider that a minor violation. Clearly, it should have been removed. So it is a violation. This is new, but this one needs to also get addressed. So he was suggesting that you tell, you know, if this had been Bernard's boat, that, yeah, we're gonna pull your dock permit if you don't get the stuff out of here. But since it's not him, can't really do that. But it still can be, look, you're in violation, you didn't pull this one out, that needs to go. And then this new guy, look, you're clearly in violation of the road end ordinance or whatever, and issue him a ticket or whatever it needs to be.
You want the attorney to send also a note to the boat guy, or we're gonna send a note to the boatman?
I wanna
we need
make
to
sure
figure
we.
out who it is and send it.
And what the process is. I want the process to be right, so we don't have to repeat it, whether it's gotta be certified, whether the attorney
Or
writes.
whether
it,
it's a
whatever.
civil infraction or whatever.
I mean, you could just send them a civil infraction, whatever that process is. you
Right.
know,
Which would be cheaper than having the attorney do it.
Whatever that looks like.
Okay,
You know, the problem is, by the time this all plays out, it'll be September 15th, October. the
yeah, but
boat
then
is on
still,
anyway.
you can't do it for next year, cause then it's a second offense. So then all of a sudden the fines increase.
Yeah, so we need to do it,
Yeah.
right, to even, but they get the use of it, you know. Now, has that boat been used? I don't know, every time I've been out on the lake,
been the same
it's
place.
been just sitting there. So, anyway,
It's been there all summer.
it has been.
And you're gonna wait while we go into closed session? You wanna say something for public comment?
Was there gonna be, I did have a couple of questions, public comment, I appreciate you putting that ahead. In the packet, there was a list of proposals for Spicer Group for surveys. Was that something that was gonna be this?
Part of it's related to closed session, part of it's not, so.
Well, most of I was just curious, the Taminga property was amongst those.
So we have a conservation easement as part of a special use permit, and I don't know if that conservation easement has ever been delineated. But because the township's responsible for monitoring that, we should know where it is, and it should be delineated, and they still have an escrow deposit that I haven't refunded, which probably, I don't think they're done building up there yet, but at some point that needs to get refunded. But that's what those funds are for, is to have ancillary costs related with their permit, and I do think we need to at least mark that so that people can monitor it.
just make sure, I mean, I don't know what all the issues, I don't know any of the issues with that, but you can get into, again, a trespass violation if a surveyor like goes onto somebody else's property.
Right, and we would have to look at the terms of that conservation easement. I'm just saying, I think that's something that, without it being marked, I don't know how you.
Are you delineating where is it at?
Yeah, so,
No, and I don't anticipate that being a problem. I'm just saying we have funds to help with this sort of things, setting an escrow.
was. The other thing I saw in the packet was there was a small bill from Nika Myers for some problem with plat of Portage Point. Imagine that. I was just curious, like, what that was about.
Ben Wilson, Onekama.
Yeah, I'm guessing Wilson, but
Did it have to do with the court case?
Include that.
I thought Wilson had solved all the problems over on the plat of Portage Point over the last 40 years.
I was gonna try to remember to ask Brad if they're gonna, when they do that chip seal, if they're gonna do anything with Angel Slide, cause that seems like it's just the.
Oh, the sand.
Does it seem like it's more than normal, or I
It's
just,
in your packet. I think.
it was all the way across the street not long ago.
Hasn't been that bad for a while, but.
Spicer, where was, no.
I'm just
How
thinking
much
people
was the
are
bill,
gonna-
Dan, you remember?
$110.
Yeah, it was like, so that was like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Didn't you consult with Richard on something as part of this whole Bernard thing with the road stuff? It could have been a late invoice. I don't remember the specific invoice.
That's what I'm saying, was it to deal with cause he testified in court.
No, that was a different bill.
No, I don't testify for that. Well, that was a huge bill.
Oh, because these were in the. I think because it was in that packet of information from Mr. Greer about. And I
It'd
included
have to be that,
whole
it'd
thing
have
as
to
part
be
of
that,
it.
because there would be no other reason.
Yeah, yes.
Dan, can we get back to you on
Yeah,
that?
it's-
Because, okay, no, I
You don't
just,
even have to bother.
no, I will, I
agree
just,
with Cassidy.
I'm sure it has to still do with that. There was something he missed or something, because
No, that wasn't, that was from Tom Greer's.
Subcontracting.
With,
You probably consulted with him.
yeah, cause it,
Yeah, okay. That's all. You don't have to look in the.
it was more than 10 minutes, hopefully.
For 100.
Someone make a motion,
I'll make a motion, we adjourn to closed session,
adjourn.
recess.
recess.
The closed session.
Oh, is there a second? Someone has a second. Oh, I'm sorry, Matt seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Screen still flickering?
All in favor, say aye. Aye, Cindy. Oh, man.
I've got another laptop. if you-
You're like, now there's nobody
Flickering
here.
screen
Why
like that
is
is known to cause like
We don't
steam.
have to-
So
The meeting's still
don't be
on the
staring at
now?
that thing too long.
Yeah, I have to pause recording.
Is anybody listening?
When I got here, he said,
Yeah.
it's fine, and I'm like, what the heck, so I turned it off. So then I'm like, well,
Just trade.
Tell 'em we're gonna-
middle of the meeting, I thought, I'm gonna turn it on, it started doing it.
Oh, Brian.
Now it's dead, but I think I had,
Is somebody on?
There is, so either
One or two? How
just
many?
one person.
Can we, mute you, who's ever online? And we won't leave the room, but you'll just be muted. We'll come in the closed session. We come back, we'll turn the volume back on. Is that all right?
I think that would make sense. So this.
Terrible. Okay, somebody's still there?
Yep.
Okay, we are back from closed session. Who's ever online? Any action to be taken?
Yeah, so there was estimates in the packet for doing some surveying work.
Okay,
So well, let me go up to the first one. I got an estimate to survey our 10 acre property between the cemetery or on the corner of 11 Mile and Bergman Road.
What is, why does it do that?
Well, 11 Mile and Erdman, yes, that's correct.
That's the one that's got the power line easement on it.
Yeah.
And the reason that we don't hit, just an option, because we talked about getting some of our properties surveyed. There's a property owner to the north between us, our property and the cemetery property that we had some issues with before
Hunting.
going across our property. There was some hunting issues. And then the property owner to the west of that has also had some issues with people going across their property. It may be nice to delineate what that is.
How much is that?
It was $2,000. But also, again, if we're gonna do this, we gotta be ready to have somebody with stakes going right behind them. With
Oh, the metal heavy
metal
duty.
stakes, because otherwise you don't, they just go away. So that's one option. I got an estimate for that. I got an estimate to survey the Tominga Conservation easement for 1,300. We have escrow funds for that. I'm not sure if in the special use permit or the language of the conservation easement, it just allows us to go survey it. But I
We should
think
get a
that's
hold,
probably
yeah.
implied, probably get a hold, well, we need to let them know, but we also need to probably check with Tom on that. So that one could be contingent on just confirming that we can do that, but it does need to be marked if we're gonna
Okay.
monitor it. And then we got I asked just for grins, the 3 parcels that we own north of Portage Point Drive on that map.
Across from
The
Hanford.
tall ones, yeah, to get those marked, that was 1,700, which I thought was actually pretty good
Yeah,
for that. And then for the wetlands, that was 11,250. So the one that I think is really important for, us to kind of move forward and stuff is the wetland one, but it's not in the budget, that much money. We'd have to probably do a
Amend the
amendment
budget.
at some point. And so I don't know, that's, I just
and
got.
do the other ones on next year's budget?
Well, potentially, yeah, it just depends on what, we seem to have issues with township owned property, not knowing where it is, people trespassing on it, whatever. It's good to know that stuff, but whatever the board's pleasure, they just got the estimates.
Anybody?
So there's 4 different proposals. I make a motion that we accept the survey to delineate the wetlands.
Okay, there's a second.
I'd second that.
Discussion? I think that's a good idea, because it's a border that is gonna be. Plus it's on a bunch of property.
Can I amend my motion?
Yes,
And amend the budget accordingly.
there we
Sorry.
go. Okay, I'm sorry. Is that
And then
okay?
we can eventually move forward on those other properties, like
If we
by the
decide-
cemetery and,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we don't have to vote on those tonight, but
Right.
those are theirs.
but eventually just keep ticking.
Why wouldn't we vote on those?
We could.
Could if someone makes a motion, he made a motion for that.
Motion open on the floor with no,
No, he's seconded.
No, Matt seconded it.
you've had your discussion,
No, we're still discussing.
all right,
She's asking why we're not doing the other ones.
because the motion is to accept the survey to delineate the wetland properties and amend the budget accordingly.
Correct. And she asked the question under discussion, why are we not doing the others? Okay, the answer is, it's not in the motion. We have to vote on this yeah, well, here, I'm just gonna call.
Question on this, on the one that you said was near the cemetery, but does it include the cemetery?
It's just a little 10 acre chunk on the corner.
Okay,
No,
trying to get that cemetery surveyed, Ed.
this is,
Well, they can survey the property borders, it's just surveying everything that's in the middle of it.
yeah, it's not doing the graves.
Yeah, that's the great
Uh,
part.
We're gonna do a roll call vote, cause it's so, no, all those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed, carried, okay. Now, if you wanted to make another motion for something else,
I would move that we have the surveys done on the other 3 parcels mentioned. The one
Urban and 11 Mile.
for, what's the one that we need the attorney,
A Tominga conservation easement.
yeah, subject to the attorney saying, go for it.
Okay, so your motion is do the others three. Okay,
But just putting the caveat in that
No.
you did about the attorney.
and we have to amend the budget also. Again, twice. Second by anybody?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on that? I should probably get a hold of them too. They might just give us permission based on Domingo.
They might, yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
we can,
without calling Tom, I mean, I think it's implied we could probably do that, but I think if I just asked them and told her what we're
Yeah.
doing,
and at some point, you know, we need to return their escrow money if we're not gonna.
how much we got that?
$13,000, been sitting there for 3 years.
Well, we should just tell them we'll be done, right? They're almost done.
Yeah, well, I think all their land use permits need to be closed out, everything needs to be, you know, so that, and then then we can refund the money.
Oh,
But we should be able to use this to survey that conservation, you know, that's.
right, which that's only 17.
Right, so they're gonna get 10 grand at least back. probably.
Okay.
I don't think they realize that.
No, but that's okay. Does anybody discussion anymore? None? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that's carried. I think that's it. Motion to pay the bills.
So moved.
Second,
Second, man.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Correspondence? We still have someone on the meeting for public comment.
So if would like to make a comment, BAC, unmute yourself. Apparently not.
Okay, thank you very much. We're gonna adjourn the meeting.